Sure, the D-Mase's car got put in the right spot, so he had good access to the building.
Mike Vrabel stopped practice to welcome Derek Mason back.
There's a big banner, welcome back, D-Mase. Oh, man.
Okay, maybe we exaggerated a little bit.
Well, and I tried to get in, and I said, Willie Donick, 102.5 The Game. You may have heard of me. I've been coming. They said, no, sir, we don't have a parking pass for you. You'll have to park down the street.
You're not on the list.
You're not on the list. So.
But no, we're excited to be back out here for Titans training camp, and running into a bunch of media members that we haven't seen in a while. Bud Dupree is going to join us. Practice, is fluid. Should wrap up around 10:45 and 11 o'clock. Titans linebacker Bud Dupree is going to come over and meet with us. General Manager John Robinson going to join the show tomorrow when we're out here, because we're here for the rest of the week. And look, there's a lot. This is the first day, but there are a lot of questions, I think, on people's minds, and we've been talking about those questions in the offseason. Now is the first day for us to be able to get a chance to see them try to get answered. And what's awesome is, we were talking about, we're literally watching everything going on.
Yeah, I think that was
right
Traylon
now.
Burke just made a tremendous catch on a bomb. So that was nice. Are we allowed to say that?
You just did.
You just did.
I don't know.
I thought everybody was going to be Derek Mason.
Yeah, Mason just made a great catch. But yeah, so I mean, it's good to be able to see
that
it.
was Derek Mason.
What
on
a
that
catch!
Yeah.
What a throw by Mason! What a catch
by
by Mason! But this is kind of the day where we start being able to answer some of those questions.
Well, and I'm no Derek. This is for years and years. I tried this. You'll probably be better at it than me. But as we do the show, you kind of have one eye, just watching to see who pops out, who makes a couple of plays here and there. And we always debated year after year, if you saw a guy stand out, making a couple interceptions or a couple of big catches, what does that really mean? On one particular day, maybe it doesn't mean that much. But if you see a guy show up every day or every other day and he's making plays, you got to say, well, wait a minute, we might have something here.
Yeah, I look at it from this standpoint. The first day, everybody's fresh. Everybody's ready to go. If you're out here and you're participating, then you're not restricted by any injuries. So to me, it's not necessarily the first day. It's day 7, 8, 9 when the pads are on, it gets hot, guys are tired. I want to see if they can mentally push through then. That's going to show me who's separating themselves from others and who's not. Who are the players and who are not. Right now, again, everybody's fresh. Everybody's happy. Their adrenaline's flowing. But after that first week, man, that lactic acid set in, and you get tired mentally, and man, your techniques start to kind of get kind of get off kilter a little bit. That's when I want to see which guys really stand up and kind of fight through all of that and go out there and make plays. Like, now it's great. You should make plays now. You're fresh. You're ready to go. But I expect you to make those same plays come day 7, 8, and 9.
That I had never thought about that, but that is something to watch for, is how guys get through from start to finish. We always talk about muscle pulls and things like that because, as you were saying yesterday, D-Mates, part of the battle for the young guys, too, is just being out there every day and getting the reps. Even if you're not excelling every day, but being out there, being available every day is a plus.
Yeah, and that, I mean, look, the best ability is availability. And that's what you need out of these guys. But, I said yesterday, I want to see what some of these second-year players can do. I'm seeing a lot of rookies out here right now that in the 20 minutes that I've been here have caught my eye. You mentioned Traylon Burks, and that's the first day, and that's great. But they really need something out of their first and second-year players.
That would be nice. They haven't had a lot of that the last couple of years. And so, one way to look at it is they're kind of due to have, a good rookie class. Just hit on a couple of guys. It's not like they've gotten zero, but it's definitely towards the top. The headliners haven't done much. So you hope that there's still time for those guys in their second, third years in some cases. Let me ask you this, Derek. We're watching the practice. It can't help but pop out at anybody. The headgear that's going on top of the helmet to limit concussions. Mike Vrabel said, hopefully they project that could decrease the chances for concussions by about 20%.
Sure.
I'm sure with the fashion that goes on, you would have had to take some convincing to wear that, right?
I wouldn't have wore it. I'm just telling you right now.
I think a lot of guys are like that. I remember the whole thing with hockey helmets, first helmets, then the shield that they wear. Some guys would just absolutely not do it because it was just so different for them. They didn't think it looked good.
Well, it's like, okay, what is this truly? If wearing the, what do they call
whatever
it?
you call it.
Whatever you call it. It's like a sort of a pad that they put over the helmets, and it kind of, I guess it sends back, things to a computer, or whatnot if you fall or whatnot hit your head on the field.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if it's not 50% or better, then I don't want to. Why am I wearing it?
20% is not enough for you.
Why am I wearing it? Yeah,
20% is
because
something.
I don't.
That's not. It's
I
not
don't
2%.
plan, but I don't plan on falling. In practice, I don't plan on getting hit like that in practice because I can't wear it in a game. So why am I wearing it at practice? Where at practice you're going to protect me as a player.
I'll be honest. I didn't hear a whole lot about this. It just sort of popped up yesterday, and then you see some of the film from around the league.
But this is another way of the NFL covering their backside, which is
they're
I
trying to
understand
offer
why.
things. I get that.
I understand why, but coaches are so smart now, and the collective bargaining has been so tailored to these guys are not getting touched. They're not getting hit or falling on the ground, aggressively. Everybody's protecting one another because they know I need you on Sunday.
Right.
So I'm not going to hurt you during the week.
I think the thing that would throw me off, you mentioned this a little bit, is because you get used to wearing the helmet, the weight of the helmet.
Doesn't throw your balance off at all.
And that now you've added something else that's going to throw your balance off a little bit.
I do wonder about that.
Well, I don't know how heavy it is. I would like to see if they will allow us to see how heavy it is.
I would love for them, and you would be the one that probably get away with this, but I would love for them to allow you to put a helmet on with it so you can tell, because you know what it feels like just with the helmet. That would be a great case study.
I'll give you another example. Baseball players with batting helmets, right?
Yeah.
It took decades before everybody came around to it, and then it took a while for people to wear the ear flap.
Yeah.
They thought it just didn't look good. And then now you have sort of the jaw guard that people put over the top of that to protect. You kind of wonder what took so long for the players to, come around to that. But a lot of it is just, I don't think I look good on the field. You have to sort of get over that mentally for the safety component of it.
So this is a question that I have for you guys and for the listeners as well. We've had a lot of questions, a lot of question marks about the Titans going into this season that we've talked about, whether it's the offensive line or the receivers or tight ends, Ryan Tannehill. There's a ton of places you can go with this. What is one question that you feel like it has a really good chance to succeed and turn out to be great? And what's one of these question marks that you think has a really good chance to fail?
Okay.
Let's discuss that coming up next. It's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. We are live at Titans training camp for the rest of the week here on 102.5 The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford. When this hot summer weather comes, I'm reminded of what my grandmother used to say. It's so hot outside The hens are using pot holders to pick up the worms. I was never really sure what that meant, but when she said it, I knew it was hot. I mean, if things are hot, that tells you something, and it's not always good. Take your car, for example. If it's running hot, something's wrong. If your air conditioner, like so many people, is blowing hot these days, something's wrong. When your tires get hot, they wear out faster, which means something's wrong. But here at Newton, we want to help right those wrongs. We have an amazing service department that'll keep your car running its best through all this heat. We have amazing technicians ready to diagnose and repair your car no matter what the problem is. We want to keep your car running smoothly in the easiest way possible. So let us help. Schedule your service online today at newtonford.com.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
615-249-4024. QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Back here at Titans training camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, all presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. 615-737-1025, that is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. As the breeze picks up, and not going to complain there.
Not complaining at all.
Not at all.
Except if our tent takes off and takes out.
Now, if we have like a Wizard of Oz and the roof blows off and it ends up on the 30-yard line in the huddle, that's a problem.
We're going to have a problem there.
Yeah, that would not be good.
We need some sandbags.
We do.
So I
don't think Chase's briefcase will be enough weight for this thing.
It might.
Yeah.
I love that you think that's a briefcase.
And yeah, that's a suit. That is just, I don't know what you call that.
It's a Pelican case.
Yeah, I've actually used that Pelican case. I've taken that Pelican case has been to Winnipeg and Vancouver and Calgary. It's been all over North America.
It has partied with Willie.
Yes.
On the road. So here is the question. It's a question about questions. We've talked about the offensive line. All right, what is that going to look like? Do we think that that's going to work out with whether it's Aaron Brewer at left guard, Jamarco Jones at left guard, Dylan Radence at right tackle? We've asked about receiver, Traylon Burks. You know, is he ready? Is he going to be good? Like, he's coming in basically taking A.J. Brown's spot, Robert Woods, etc. So the question about the questions is, what do you feel has the best chance to succeed in all of these? What are you worried that has the best chance to fail?
I like how he worded that.
Yes.
D-Mase. The question about the questions.
Yes.
Here's one that right now, of course, here we are on the first day of practice. We got a lot of practices and weeks of conditioning to watch and observe. And even after that, we don't know what that all means, because it doesn't really count until you get it cranking on week one. But I'm optimistic about the wide receiver core. This is a total overhaul, right? We get a completely different mix where Nick Westbrook-Akina is the only guy that you feel like is going to be back in a reasonably same role that he was last year. But all that being said, I love the fact that Robert Woods is basically ready to go. He's almost back. I envision a scenario where he wouldn't be ready for week 1. He wouldn't be able to practice at the start of training camp, but here he is. That's looking good. It looks like Burks has got reason to believe that he's going to be able to participate in these practices. Anything can happen. And then, somebody has got to emerge. There's such a wide open field of guys like Kyle Phillips and Josh Malone and Dez Fitzpatrick. If you just find me one guy out of that who is a decent fit in a decent role, you got the makings of a receiving corps. So I'm optimistic about the receivers.
How about you, D-Mase?
Optimism is the running backs. I think.
Come on.
I mean, but people are down. People are questioning.
Well, it's a huge.
It's a question mark. Like, will Derrick Henry be back? Will he be the same Derrick Henry that he was at the beginning of last season, right before he got hurt?
Chase laughs, but every single preview you will see numbers on Derrick Henry's skepticism, numbers declining in some of these secondary categories. So I think it's a legit thing to bring up.
And then Hassan Haskins, we saw him at Michigan. I was able to see him a lot because, I'm watching the Big Ten because of Michigan State, so I was able to see Hassan Haskins a lot, and he's a powerful
He is
runner.
a Wolverine. You're saying good things about Michigan?
Yeah, I guess I got to, it's like he's a Titan now, so I got to kind of let it go just a little.
Well, he was praising Nick Cousins yesterday.
Exactly.
The Spartan blood was coming out.
And then Hilliard.
Nick Cousins?
Nick Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
Hilliard and Cannon.
Hockey crosswire.
I am optimistic about this running back situation because I feel they still have the best running back in the National Football League, regardless of what Jonathan Taylor did last year. Jonathan Taylor got to put years together like Derrick Henry has for me to believe he's overtaken Derrick Henry as the best back in the National Football League. So I think Derrick will get back to being the best back. I think Hassan Haskins will give Titans that power but speed back that they need when he spells Derrick Henry, or God forbid if anything happens to Derrick Henry, I think they will still be able to run the ball with such physicality that you won't see any wavering, or you won't see any digression in what they do as far as an offense. Obviously he's not Derrick Henry, but still. So that's what I'm optimistic about. I believe they have a trio of running backs that led by Derrick Henry that can get the job done.
Yeah.
So the other places, you mentioned the wide receivers. With me, it's still a wait and see. I like the wide receivers, but it's still a wait and see because we have guys, a rookie that's coming in, a guy that's coming off ACL, and a third-year guy that has to prove himself once again this year. And then the depth behind them, we don't know.
See, I feel it's interesting because Willie went down that road, and what you just said, Derek, I feel good about the wide receivers. I think Woods and Burks are going to turn some heads. And the fact that Burks is, are we going to end up with a player in our team?
It's possible.
I'm a little nervous about that.
I think we got to be Derek's got the hands ready.
Head on a swivel.
There could be a tip pass or an errant pass. We got to be ready. If it comes in at a certain angle, Chase, you're the most vulnerable because you're closest to the field.
But I do feel good about the receivers. I mean, I think Westbrook-Akina is emerging as that, third, that role guy, an important guy. But then I feel confident that Treylon Burks has done the extra work. I mean, he admitted some things that he needed to work on, and he's, I think he's done that and shown up to practice ready to go. Now, they haven't even put the pads on yet, so that obviously is going to factor in. And then with Woods, a lot of time has passed. I know, Derek, you have concerns about the ACL, and that's rightfully so, but I really do. I think that this receiving core is going to be pretty good this year, led by Traylon Burks and Robert Woods.
The only thing that I'm concerned about with the receiving corps, it shouldn't be the only thing, because it's a concern, right? We know that this is an area everybody's watching full of question marks, but I still don't see the deep threat. D-Mase, they have not gotten a guy who obviously is a deep threat and has done it in the league, and that has been a problem for them. So I don't know where that's coming from. The ability to stretch the defense, I still think that, even if it works out with a lot of what we're talking about, I still think that's a hole.
Well, I think they envision, just judging by the last few years, when they think of deep threat, they think of a guy that catches the ball 10 yards and can break tackles and get yards after catch.
Yes.
I think that's what they envision. They're not – would they love to have a burner? Possibly, yes. Everybody would love to have a burner on their team, someone that can stretch the field. But I think they're happy with, possibly Traylon Burks' ability to catch the ball, break tackles, and get downfield, sort of like A.J. Brown. Robert Woods, his craftiness, finding holes and then getting up the field. And then Nick Westbrook-Akina, I think he has speed to get down the field. He has the height and the arm length to catch balls over defenders. So I think they're looking more so at it from hey, we got guys that can catch the ball 10, 15 yards down the field and break tackles, as opposed to having a Tyreek Hill type of guy that can, or Devontae Smith type of guy that can catch the ball and 20, 30 yards down the field and score touchdowns.
But do you think that that's going to hinder them not really having that?
No, because every team doesn't have it. I mean, every team doesn't have that guy that can, truly stretch the field. Tampa didn't truly have that legitimate deep threat, but they had big guys that can get the ball in their hands, and Mike Evans, get the ball in his hands, and he breaks tackles. Shifty guys, Godwin, get the ball in his hands, in a hole, and then get up the field. So every team doesn't have that necessary, 4-2, 4-3 guy.
Yeah, well, and I guess a concern is missing what A.J. Brown was the best at, and that is as soon as the ball hit his hands, he became a running back.
Exactly.
I mean, the yak, like you were talking about.
And Burks did a lot of that in college.
That's what they envision. I think that's what they envision. Yeah.
They're banking on trying to get that out of him here. I have never been more excited about not even a preseason game, but like some of these joint practices that they're going to have with Tampa and Arizona to see how a guy like Burks, matches up with another defense that not going against his own guys. I think, and then watching him and Malik Willis and the other young guys in the actual preseason games, I think is going to be entertaining as well. We're live at Titans training camp. We're going to be here the rest of the week. Bud Dupree is scheduled to join us whenever they wrap things up here at practice. We'll also check in with Caroline Fenton as she's been out here all morning, get her thoughts on practice as football is finally here. But taking your calls and your texts, an area that you feel has the best chance of success with all these questions that we have about the Titans, and an area that concerns you the most that has the best chance of failure. We'll talk more about that coming up next. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 27th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. It's clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also a gift that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Tennessee has always been a state of pioneers. Hardworking folks just trying to find simple ways to protect their families, which is why so many Tennesseans trust us. Need individual plans including dental and vision? Or you're a small business owner and want family coverage? No problem. Just click fbhp.com, call us, or visit one of our many offices. Farm Bureau Health Plans, protecting Tennesseans since 1947.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, and costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN. Welcome into Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stomach Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here at Titans Training Camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 615-737-1025. You can call or text on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Discussing things we feel have the best chance for success when it comes to the Titans questions. And now the things that concern us the most that could have the best chance for failure when it comes to these Titans questions. I will start, and it's very simple for me. The right tackle position, Dillon Radunz. I am very, very nervous about Dillon Radunz. I heard Robbie and Rexroad talking about him a little bit this morning. You know, he was a guy that didn't play a ton of football, had time off with COVID. They drafted him in the second round, did nothing for him last year. Now all of a sudden you're talking about him competing to be the starting right tackle for this team. And things got really quiet all of a sudden.
They kind of spread out. They went to the second field, so we don't have the action right in front of us. We're not an immediate threat of getting hit by a ball.
But that concerns me a lot, that they're just, he hasn't shown, you know, anything really. Now, obviously the coaches and J-Rob and everyone, they see more than we do. They know more than we do, and I respect that. But from what I have seen and what I have heard, that should be a major concern, that could be a potential failure at right tackle.
For me, it has to be the quarterback positions. Not that I don't think they can't, you know, go out there and play, because obviously they did a good job last year. It's the depth and the experience at that position. You are relying really heavy on that defensive front, and rightfully so. I mean, I would too if I was a defensive coordinator. But what happens if that defensive front can't get to the passer? We saw that in the playoffs when they couldn't get that 10th sack, or that 11th sack. What happened? Well, they were able to complete passes. More importantly, they were able to complete the big pass at the end of the game to put them in position to kick a field goal. That was a 15-yard out route to the receiver because the line couldn't get to him. So, to me, that's a concern for me. Again, it's not because I don't think these guys can play. It's just the experience and the lack of depth at that position.
It's interesting, Chase, that you brought up the receivers and the optimism, which I did. I'm also with you. I broadened it to the 2 spots that they're trying to fill. I'm not going to center as much on Radens, because I don't think you can read too much into 1 year. There are plenty of examples of somebody who didn't have the light go on until a second or even a third year, especially with offensive linemen. So I'm not giving up hope. And I would say that the bar isn't that high. David Quesenberry started all 17 games at right tackle last year. His numbers weren't great. He was a replacement level guy. So if you can, it wouldn't take much just to get somebody who could be comparable to him last year. What you're really hoping for is that somebody can upgrade, whether it's Radens or Petit Frere, who knows?
We haven't even really talked about Petit Frere.
Maybe you hit on him as a third-round pick. He's going to get a chance, I think, over time, and you've got weeks to sort it out. The one I'm a little more concerned about is the left guard, I think, because Roger Saffold was such a rock of stability, especially with the run game. He was a power blocker. If you think about the Titans' running game, how many great runs did they have to the left behind him? And now not having him.
That's why he was brought here.
Yes.
He was a run-blocking guy.
100%. And so what's that next guy going to look like, whoever they end up using there? And, you'd like to keep Aaron Brewer probably as your utility guy, ideally. But
right now I think he's probably going to win the job.
Well, maybe. And then Jamarco Jones has been a utility guy before. Yeah. He's one of those guys like you're looking to move up in role by changing teams. So what do you have there? I don't know. But that's probably my biggest concern because the pass protection wasn't all that great last year. Looking at Football Outsiders, they thought that the blown blocks were a big cause of a lot of sacks. And I remember that. I mean, that passes the eye test with a lot of their games when they had guys banged up. What you have to hope for is that Taylor Lewan from start to finish could have a great year because that could help whoever ends up starting next to him.
So let me phrase this.
So offensive line is my biggest concern.
Sure. And you said the corners.
The corners,
which is interesting because I actually feel okay about the corners. Injuries are obviously a concern. Farley's been out here. Fulton's been out here. But they're deep. Even though Buster Skrine retired yesterday, I think they're very deep at that position. But here's what I'll ask you guys about. The first 4 weeks, to me, is when you really determine what a team is. And you learn in the first month of the season, by the time you get to week 5, week 6, that's when you start to see, all right, this team is good, this team is average, this team is not good. Fair?
Yeah.
Fair question? So the first 4 weeks for the Titans, Giants, at the Bills, Raiders, at the Colts. Of those 4 teams, what defense would scare you the most going up against that offensive line that the Titans are going to have?
Giants, Bills, Colts, and
Raiders.
It might be that Raiders defensive line. I know that the Buffalo Bills winning got the defensive lineman
Von Miller.
Yeah. They went out and got Von Miller. I understand that. But I told you guys this about Buffalo in the past. It's like, yes, they rank number 1, across the board and everything else. But then once you see them play sometimes, it's like, are they really a top 3 defense? Because it doesn't look like it. They have a bunch of fast guys on defense, but they don't have a bunch of sturdy, stocky guys on defense. If you're running sideline to sideline, yeah, they can do that. But when you start hitting them in between those tackles over and over again, they struggle. I think Oakland is the defense that scares me. If I had to really look at those 4, it'd be Oakland.
/ Vegas.
/ Vegas, yeah. Oakland / Vegas.
I'll tell you this. I I think a lot of people sleep on Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I think Derek Carr is
he playing offensive line?
He's not.
Or defensive line?
No, he is not.
It wasn't the question about the defensive line?
It was, but I'm building to a point here. Yes,
he could have switched positions.
Look,
Now you never know.
Is he a two-way player?
He is. He's going to play linebacker and quarterback. No, I think a lot of people sleep on him. He's got Devontae Adams now. They have upgraded there. They have Darren Waller, best tight end in the league, or one of the best tight ends in the league. So I think they have an offense. They'll have somewhat of a run game. Derek brings up the defensive front. I think the Raiders are going to be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah.
Overall. That's a tough division that they're in the AFC West. Obviously, you got to deal with the chart. You know, you got Oakland, San Diego. No, you got
LA Raiders. Oakland, San Diego.
You got the Chargers. You got the Raiders. You know, I think the Broncos are a giant question mark because even though they got Russell Wilson, what else do they have there? They traded Von Miller last year, won the Super Bowl with the Rams. Now he's in Buffalo. But the Raiders isn't interesting. That's the answer to your question of defensive front that you'd be the most concerned about with the Titans' offensive line. I think I agree with you.
The Colts, I think, too, they've got a disruptive defensive line. That would be one that stands out to me. But I think you have to just, as Mike Vrabel says all the time, worry about yourself, right? If you can lock in the roles as much as possible. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to keep saying it, and it can change today if they get 3 guys hurt or 4 guys hurt. But I felt like the last 2 years they had some major question marks of guys not sure if they're going to play, when they're going to play, how well they're going to play when they get back, when can they start practicing. They've had a lot of that stuff the last couple of years. Just take the COVID itself. You know, you're not sitting around here going, hey, when are we going to lose a wave of guys? I guess you know, it still could happen to some degree, but you're not as worried about that part of it. You've got, for example, Bud Dupree. We were talking about the entire preseason last year. Taylor Lewan talking about the entire preseason last year. What are you going to see as they try to get back? Julio Jones, by the second day, you kind of understood you weren't going to see him at practice.
Yeah.
And you basically never did see him at practice the entire year.
Yeah.
So there's just less of that stuff right now, at least today.
You can tell that you and I have been doing shows together and working together for a long time because, like, you just read my mind and knew where I was going to go next with you bringing up Julio Jones. Julio is on the move.
He's got a job.
He's got a job. We will discuss that coming up next. Bud Dupree scheduled to join us when practice is over. They're wrapping things up, so we will get to him probably around 11 if I had to guess, as we are live from Titans training camp, and our training camp coverage is presented by USA Hemp Store and Parman Energy, your one-stop petroleum solution, here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose. Nashville's home for NASCAR. He's going to try to make a big move here. It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. More scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible this afternoon and evening. High temperature today up to 94. Heat index up to 103.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Attention furniture buyers. Social Furniture is having a huge summer blowout sale in all departments. Don't wait, buy now. Your new furniture can be delivered the same day. At Social Furniture, our professional staff is ready to serve you with your furniture purchase. Summer is the best time to buy new furniture at Social Furniture. The savings are spectacular. For a limited time, Social Furniture is offering special financing for up to 60 months. That's right, up to 60 months. Don't wait. Visit Social Furniture today to save.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-326-7765 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-326-7765. That's 800-326-7765. What do you have to lose? Call 800-326-7765. Again, 800-326-7765.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year,
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here at 102.5, 106, The Game. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason live at Titans training camp today. Bud Dupree scheduled to join us here in just a few minutes as practice has wrapped up. I'll say this, before we get to Julio Jones, I just looked at Derek. Willy, you'd walked off. I just looked at Derek, and I said, who is 13? Because I've seen 13 all over the field. Racy McMath with his new number. It's been very visible today.
I was asking myself that same question. In fact, during the break, I was walking over to see if I could get a roster. They weren't where they told me they were, or maybe I just didn't listen very well. That's possible, too.
Well, you can go to TennesseeTitans.com and pull it up.
Well, it changes a lot, though, as we know. That there's last-minute additions and extra guys. So, yeah, but look, that's what we were talking about earlier in the show is there's opportunities out there. Mm-hmm. There's opportunities for somebody to win a job as the third or fourth guy. Really the fourth guy, but you could move up quick. One guy gets hurt. You need that depth.
Well, I mean, it just about any position, in every position on the field, guys have opportunities to step up and redefine their role with the team. It's not set in stone that you are the number 3 on the depth chart at any position. Things can happen. Or you can play your way into more time on the field. So, yes, you have your starters, but those guys behind the starters do have an opportunity to change their role within the team, during the league year.
So let's talk Julio. Julio Jones signs a 1-year contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is ring chasing like no other, and good for him. Didn't really do anything. I was trying to remember, like, okay, what did he like? I know he scored a touchdown in the last game. That was his only touchdown. 434 yards, only 48 targets, 31 catches in 10 games for the Tennessee Titans last year. He's battled injury the last 2 years with the hamstring, but now he's going to go sign with Tom, be another target for Tom Brady, and play with the 45-year-old quarterback. I don't really put that much stock into it. It's a story for us because he left here after 1 year. And we will pause that conversation because a linebacker is coming over to join us.
Yeah,
right
we'll
now.
come back to that.
Yes, we will. Bud Dupree walking to our broadcast location as he's wrapped up practice. and we'll welcome him to the show. Bud, how you doing?
Oh, good. How y'all today?
Doing fantastic. I want to start with something we were talking about earlier. You have the cover on your helmet. Derek was talking about, obviously, they didn't have that when he played, and he doesn't know if he'd like it very much. How has that been for you adjusting to that?
Man, it's soft to me, but, I mean, it's cool. They're just doing what they can to protect, protecting us for concussions, scientifically proving that's what they're really trying to do. But at the end of the day, man, you want to have as less stuff as you can on.
Sure.
To be comfortable while you're on the field. The more comfortable you are, the better you play.
Speaking of comfort, you're about a year and a half or whatever removed from the knee. How you feeling? How's your health at this point?
Man,
training camp.
I'm feeling good, man. Blessed, can't complain. Continue to grind every day. Continue to make sure I stay on top of my rehab. Even though I'm feeling better, I want to make sure I get over that hump, and continue just to implement stuff from my way from the off-season training and bringing it to training camp.
We're speaking with Bud Dupree. They just finished up their first practice on the field today. Now, Bud, is there some differences within this defense that you see this year already that you didn't see last year?
I feel like guys, the younger guys are more comfortable with their role. Even people like me, we're more comfortable in our role. Nico, guys like that who was first year with last year, everyone is more comfortable now, having a year up under their belt. Used to the coaches, know what expectations they want, knowing how practice is going to go, how it's going to flow. Knowing our teammates, knowing how they play, knowing how Jeff plays. He's been here, knowing how KB likes things done. Hooker in the backfield. The DBs, again, they getting their cohesiveness together as well. They're meshing better. We're meshing better as a unit. We're holding each other accountable. No one is scared to say something to nobody because everybody know each other now. Mm-hmm. And that just comes with building bond off the field. You continue to hang with guys, and, I feel like people may see certain people and be like, I don't really know bro like that, so I don't really want to say nothing to him because I don't really know him. But, like, when you build that bond, like, it's easy, like, bro, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to tell you did something wrong. If you want to fight, we fight because I love you, my brother. So, at the end of the day, man, I think people now are comfortable enough to tell each other that, like, even people like Jeff, you tripping. Like, that's my brother. I love Jeff. If I tell him he tripping, he tell me I'm tripping. I know it ain't no hard feelings. I know we just trying to get to the best spot we can be in.
And is that the part, the accountability part that you've seen has really changed from last year to this year? Because even Coach Vrabel talks about holding guys accountable and this team holding each other accountable.
Yeah, man, it starts within yourself. It starts within your unit. You continue to make your unit better, and that makes the whole team better. And then it just starts a domino effect. You calling guys out, man, you making sure you're working hard, they're working hard. You want to be great. And the will to be great is making sure you do the right thing. Athletically, God gives everyone with athletic talent, gives everyone with athletic ability, but it's up to us to go out there and perform with it every day, each and every day, and practice with it each and every day, and hold our brother accountable each and every day. Because I feel like if he's the best person I've seen on the field at that position, he needs to be the best person every day. Mm-hmm. So I got to let him know every day, like, boy, you the best, boy. Make sure you know you the best. I ain't going to let you go out here and think you're not the best. So you play like you're the best every time when you touch the field.
We're talking about Bud Dupree on that front four for the Tennessee Titans. And, Bud, we go back long enough. Before you arrived, before they drafted Jeffrey Simmons, they brought Danico in last year, the team really was having trouble getting to the passer with the front four. They had to bring extra guys to get the pass. Is that sort of the pride you take in that front four, to be able to rush the passer consistently with just you four?
Definitely. Me, Jeff, Danico, H, even when the sub guys come in, we that's what we want to do. We want to stop the run as well, of course, to be a dominant defense. We want to make sure we steal those tough guys up front, not just trying to play the pass. We still want to be tough. We still want to have that old school demeanor. Make sure we busting people in the mouth, but also going out there and getting to the ball, causing confusion and causing disruptions. Being a part of it only helps the team make the team better. It helps the offense stay on the field more. It helps us keep us off the field a whole lot more, which is winning football.
You touched on stopping the run. I wonder what it's going to be like for Zach Cunningham this year with the full season, the full off season, to get ready and get used to you guys. Like you said, building that relationship where you can be honest. But he's been such a great run stopper in the past. Joining midstream, I got to imagine there's another level to his game now.
No, definitely. We've seen what Zach doing in Houston. Even when I was with the Steelers, he was the number one game planner person that you got to make sure. Even though he's little, everybody will tell you like he hit hard. So, he's coming down here. He's not shying away from any type of contact, no matter what. He's super athletic enough to go around. He kind of gives you that old Shazier vibe. Me speaking, I played with Shazier, so I know kind of like the same type of attributes that they kind of like he has entails in himself. and you see it, and then he's also just a maniac. His head, he don't got no brain for real on the field. But that's what you really want within the player, man. They coming out, they working hard, man, each and every day, and it's fun to watch, and it's fun to be a part of a team that has players like that.
It's exciting to see him in Nashville. You notice I'm wearing my Commodore hat today.
Yes.
I watched him at Vanderbilt. He was probably one of the best college players.
Yes.
I know. It's a little bit like that. Now, I'm trying to think. Did you cross over with him at all when he was at Vanderbilt? Were you at Kentucky at that time? I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, I played him like my last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big game.
Vanderbilt,
Kentucky.
I played him like a year, 2 years. I think I played him 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But, man,
it's kind of you look at that schedule, like Vanderbilt, Kentucky, like, we got to win that game.
Yeah, but, like, we really ain't prepared for that game.
Hey, it's not the first time I've heard of Vanderbilt football team.
Exactly.
Bud Dupree is with us. Look, at the end of the year, there's only one team that's happy, and we all know that. Last year it was the Rams winning the Super Bowl. You guys had 9 sacks against the Bengals, and I know the end result of the game wasn't what you wanted, but how do you build off of that and look at the success that your defense had in that game and try and apply that to this year?
Vrabel told me not to talk about it.
Hey, he was honest.
Yes.
The man was honest.
That is the best answer he could possibly get. I love that. I love that. That's his mentality. You flush it, you move on, and now you're focused on this year.
Yeah,
I feel like that is something that y'all are carrying.
Yeah, definitely, man. We got to get better each and every day, starting now. Continue to train, continue to progress, man. We're just in it for now and continue to get better and better, man. We going to make sure that we're better than we was at this point last year.
Well, Bud, we appreciate you stopping over today. It's good to talk to you. It's good to actually be out here and get to meet you guys. But best of luck this season, and thanks so much.
All right, man. Thank you all for having me.
Yes, Bud Dupree, Titans linebacker, joining us. That was a fantastic answer. I can't dispute that at all.
The man was honest. Like, listen, we can't talk about it.
Vrabel said don't talk about it. And I love that. But like right there, I mean, if you've watched the Man in the Arena stuff with Tom Brady, Mike Vrabel was in the 3rd episode, and it was talking about those early days of building what that Patriot way was. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you've seen with Mike Vrabel, and you played against him, Derek. You know it. That's the kind of the mentality that Vrabel has with his team, and it's shown with his players.
Yeah, you have to. You have to have a short memory in this game, whether it be in-game short memory or, during the week game by game. Yes, you want to sort of, we pick up on the things that we did well, and we correct the things that we did wrong. But then after you watch the film Monday, it's over with. It's done. We have to move on. The only time we go back is when we play the Colts for a second time or Jacksonville for a second time. Then we're able to go back and watch the film of some of the things that we did well and some things that we didn't.
I noticed, just looking at Bud, how excited he is.
Yeah.
You could tell he feels so much better. He's more comfortable. He's talking about that rapport that you build with your teammates, but also his knee. I'm sure he doesn't want to go through all of what happened last year with the knee, but he was pretty open about it last year. He tried to get back for game 1. He did, but he wasn't really ready. He ended up having to go on the injuries. He only played 11 games. It took him at least half the season, maybe 2/3 of the season before you really started to see him feel a little bit more comfortable. And even in the games he played, he didn't play as high a percentage of the snaps. And you heard him mention, I want to be on the field more. I want to be on there for more downs. And I think that's something to look for. Not only is he in the game and rushing the passer, but is he out there for all 3 downs a higher percentage of the time?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coming up next, we will get into Julio Jones signing with Tampa. Appreciate Bud Dupree for joining us. We'll check in with Caroline here in just a little bit. Live at Titans training camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game. We talk the game.
You can't just pick up one guy and be competitive in the playoffs.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a beach day. And with 35 miles of pristine, sugary white sand, it's easy to see why. So let's grab the beach bag, the beach ball, and the boogie board. Let's pack the suits, the sunscreen, and the sunglasses. Take a dip in the emerald green waters of the Gulf and then taking a breathtaking sunset at the end of the day. So let's make a beeline to the beach and let's shine. Plan your next getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
Hey, Willy Donick here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month, and inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. My favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes. They open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checker flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason, live at Titans training camp today. As the Titans have wrapped up practice, our training camp coverage is presented by USA Hemp Store and Parman Energy, your one-stop petroleum solution. Enjoy talking to Bud Dupree, and we were just talking about it more during the break. I mean, and you said it too, Willy. He looks excited and ready to go, feels good, and I think this year you're going to see the Bud Dupree that you saw his last year in Pittsburgh and we saw towards the end of last year for the Titans, but the guy that they signed and wanted on this team.
I have seen a lot of breakdowns of position groups and predictions that you start seeing at this time of the year a lot, and there is a lot of attention being paid on the front four, and Bud Dupree's a big part of it. The theory is he's going to be much more healthy. He's got a great supporting cast. He really thrived in Pittsburgh when he had the good supporting cast up front. You've got Simmons, you've got Autry, who got, I thought, huge grades, right, for the amount of money they paid him. They got a really big year. They think he's one of the more underrated players in the league in a lot of cases. And then you had Landry, who had the career year. So there's a lot invested there, but they've overhauled that in 2 years, and now you've got arguably one of the top 2 or 3 defensive lines in the league.
Yeah. Again, I said this yesterday. I don't know how and why Indianapolis allowed Danico Autry to get out of their building. I mean, the guy is a player. He's one of those guys that you need on your defensive line because, he's going to do all the things right. He's going to make the little plays that may not show up, that people may not see from afar. But when you watch the film, after the game or opposing coaches watch the film of that Titans defensive line, they start game planning and strategizing how to, contain and block Danico Autry along with Jeffrey Simmons. So that was a great addition by the Tennessee Titans last year to bring him into the fold.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You'll hear from Jeffrey Simmons, Traylon Burks here in just a little bit as well. Head coach Mike Vrabel, too, as we're live at Titans training camp. But we started to talk about this before Bud came over. What exactly are the Tampa Bay Bucs going to get in Julio Jones? Are they going to get a guy that's not going to practice, like we pretty much saw here, that's going to play 10 games or whatever and not even finish the games? Or, is he healthy? Does Tom get another weapon? I mean, he doesn't have to go there and be a number one receiver. He just has to go there and basically be what Antonio Brown was before he took his jersey off and went home.
Anybody who thinks that they know what Julio Jones is going to look like in the next several weeks, several months, good luck with the bet. Go to. Sure. I'm sure there's some over-unders on how many games he's going to play. All of that stuff. I do wonder, and Derek, I think you may have a little more optimism than I do. I just think once you hit a certain point, health-wise, because that was such a big thing for him last year, can your body bounce back? I don't know. It just was so frustrating last year. I think it was even deceptive when you say he played 10 games for the Titans last year. Yeah, he played 10 games, but for 4 or 5 or 6 of those 10 games, he really was not a big factor. He wasn't feeling 100% out there. I'll give him credit. By the end of the year, he did look like he was a factor out there. He did make some plays late in the season. And remember me, I was going out there saying, hey, he's going to make a key play or two for this team in the playoffs. And, of course, it didn't really unfold. They didn't play enough. But he was showing signs that can happen. I'm sure that's what the Bucs are looking at. They're optimistic, saying, okay, by the end of the year, he looked a little bit closer to Julio Jones. And, Tom Brady, I'm sure he's like, hey, I could make something like that work.
Listen, when it comes to Tom, anything is possible. Like Kevin Durant said, anything is possible. that's
anything's possible if you're out there, but can he be out there?
But here's the thing, and here's the problem here's what happened quickly with Tennessee, is that you bring a guy in, it didn't seem like everybody was on board that he should be the guy that you bring in, So that right there just started everything off wrong. And then you're not practicing. You don't build that rapport with the quarterback, and then you expect to get out there and everything to just come together. And it doesn't. And then, when Vrabel called him out, I knew right then and there, for a veteran guy that hasn't experienced being called out like that, I knew it wasn't going to go down good. I knew it wasn't going to be a good thing with him. Listen, he didn't come out and voice his opinion about it, but you can tell his demeanor after that. It was just completely off. I don't think he wanted to be here anymore. He was going to play it out, but I think he was looking, hey, listen, either they're going to release me next year or I'm going to ask to be released. That's how I felt. Now, here's the deal with Tampa. He's going to go in. He's going to be the third receiver or the fourth, more than likely the third receiver. Tom Brady knows how to keep the third receiver engaged. Sometimes quarterbacks don't know how to keep that veteran third guy engaged or that veteran fourth guy. Tom Brady is able to do it. He has a bunch of weapons, and he's always managed to keep everybody happy.
That is a great point.
You may not catch one pass this game, but next game, you better be ready to catch 5 or 6. That's Tom Brady, because he likes to look for guys within the offense. He has his number one guy. He doesn't want to get too predictable with his number one guy. That's why you see guys across the board catching passes. 1 week is this guy, 1 week is another guy. It's going to be like that in Tampa with Julio Jones. He may have games where he catch one pass or none, but then I guarantee you he will have games where he catches 5 passes, 6 passes, even might be the leading receiver for that team. So when it comes to hell, I can probably go with Tom Brady and catch some passes. He'd keep me engaged.
Well, that's a great
point. Y'all are around the
That's
same age. It would
yeah,
work.
exactly. I'm about 5 years older than him, 6 years older than him. But, but Tom just has that ability to do that. Not many quarterbacks do or not many offensive coordinators have that ability. But with Tom Brady, it's not up to the offensive coordinator.
Now
it's up to Tom to distribute the ball.
Think about how important that element is, especially when you talk about wide receivers. Like Antonio Brown, if there's ever a guy that you thought going in, okay, let's see how this works, but he wasn't. I thought Tom Brady did a really good job.
He kept him engaged that first year.
Yes, and it wasn't like Brown was getting the ball 10 times a game. He had to adjust his role, but Brady did a really good job with that. So Jones, I think the Buccaneers' thinking is probably exactly what you're saying. Brady can make this work. Also, maybe Jones is now another year removed from being a superstar. Maybe he's wrapped his arms around being the secondary target a little bit more, where he still may have been in that superstar mode last year. So maybe it can work. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I just think the health is going to be the thing here.
Yeah.
If he stays on the field, there's no doubt in my mind everything you're saying is right.
Exactly.
I just wonder if the body will allow it to happen. He hasn't practiced in 2 years.
I want to hit on.
He really hasn't. He doesn't practice.
Yeah, you're right.
And look, it's a low risk, high reward kind of thing if you're Tampa, because it's not like they needed him.
Right, and he's sitting out there July 25th without a job.
Right.
So
you
the rest of the league is kind of spoken on that.
You figured that there were going to be 30 teams, that could take a look at it. He wasn't going to come back here. He wasn't going back to Atlanta.
Absolutely.
But now he's back in that division. I saw a picture yesterday. He's wearing 11 again. But I think it's not going to amount to much, but it'll be interesting. The one thing that I do want to say, that you brought this up, Derek, of that it became apparent that it just wasn't working. There wasn't a fit here. And the one thing about Mike Vrabel is you can read between the lines with him. When you read between the lines with him, you can tell when he doesn't like somebody, or somebody's not vibing with his system and what he wants to do. And that was becoming more and more apparent, as any time Julio Jones was brought up, Vrabel, you could tell was kind of feeling that way. Where I'll credit the Titans, and credit John Robinson, is they went for it, they did it, they made the move, didn't work, and they moved on. And they ate it, and they moved on.
Yep, and they still have to give up a 4th-round pick in this coming draft. They gave up the 2nd-round pick in the last draft, so there was a price to pay. But
they didn't compound the problem by being a hostage to the contract.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so
you understand and you turn the page.
And so I think that sometimes in John's job, and we've talked about this with the Predators, that David's had to have a couple of those moves recently.
Everybody does, right? Everybody's
that comes
got
with
those.
it, and it's admitting it and moving on and not letting it linger. They could have very easily hung on to Julio for this year to make cutting him a little cheaper next year, but they knew that was going to hurt the team, and so they did, and they went ahead and they moved on, and now he is in Tampa with Tom Brady. One guy that we know is going to have a breakout year, and we've talked about contracts, is Jeffrey Simmons. He talked to the media today, and we will play some of that for you. Coming up next, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans Training Camp today, presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling are York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Ample Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
On ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Men, what if I told you that now you are able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMD4Men.com.
Our diamonds are direct from the source, direct from the cutters. There's no middlemen, there's no markup.
Meet Ben Wilkes, 10-year jewelry professional at Genesis Diamonds.
We've got everything from half a carat all the way up to 15 carats and everything in between. So I never have to go looking for something.
And if you're in search of that one-of-a-kind designer ring,
lots of times they come in and she's got a very specific picture, something that she wants, and she's shocked and amazed when I go right to a case and pull exactly what she's been looking at out.
And beyond the best price and selection, every customer at Genesis gets one-on-one personal attention with no hidden agenda.
Every customer that I've ever worked with has my personal cell phone number. It doesn't come from an automated system. It is person-to-person interaction. We're not on commission, so what that means is regardless of what you buy or don't buy, I'm paid the same.
Genesis Diamonds.
Here you get more, you get bigger, better, you get prettier. The quality, the selection, transparency, customer service, it can't be touched. It's unmatched.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, a dab bar at the Hendersonville location, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Join MTSU head football coach Rick Stockstill and the Blue Raiders as they hit the street for the Blue Raider Blitz Caravan across the mid-state. Each stop will feature free food, giveaways, and a chance to hear from Coach Stockstill on the upcoming Middle Tennessee football season. To see when the caravan is in your town, head to mtalumni.com/blitz to register to attend. That's mtalumni.com/blitz.
For the first time, saddle up in Smashville. 6:30 this Saturday at Nissan Stadium for WWE SummerSlam. See undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns face Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. Liv Morgan defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Pat McAfee vows to shut down Happy Corbin and more. Receipts are still available and tickets start at $25 at Ticketmaster.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans training camp. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason. I tried to get D-Mase a tryout. John Robinson said he didn't think he'd pass the conditioning test.
I don't want no part of that conditioning test.
Yeah, so I guess that's not going to happen.
We talked about that conditioning test the other day and how hard it is to pass that. Derek gave some good pointers. Chase, if we ever have to do a conditioning test of any kind, and I did back in the day, but it was a good reminder that if you've got to do like 6 sprints, you don't go all out on the first 2 sprints because you're going to burn out. You're going to bunk. The 5th and 6th, you got to save some in the tank because if it's a time trial and you got to make the time in all 6,
yeah,
you got to be out there for all 6. So if you wipe out, you can be the fastest guy in the first 2. It doesn't matter if you don't pass number 5 and number 6 in those 150s.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. One, just come in shape, okay? Just come in and don't
that helps a lot.
Yeah, don't even worry about, okay, number 5 and number 6. If you come in shape, you know, you're going to get through it. You know, but yeah, number 5 and number 6, I mean, you know, it's grueling. And for those that don't pass the test, you still got to run. You still got to run them all. And if you don't pass the test, you got to run it again, all 6 of them again until you pass the test. That's the unfortunate part about, you know, the conditioning test. But my thing is, just come in shape and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know. It's a necessary evil. That's what it is.
We'll talk to Titans GM John Robinson tomorrow. He'll join us on the show, but good to see him and laugh with him a little bit. Jeffrey Simmons, a guy that, I don't know how much he's going to talk about, John, that is, but a guy that's looking for a new contract, looking for another big year. He caught up with the media, starting with our own Jared Stillman.
Jeff, how you feeling about your contract situation right now?
I'm not talking about contract. I'm in camp, worrying about football.
Would you like to see something done if?
I am not talking about contract. I'm focused on football. I'm in camp. I'm here. I'm trying to be the best I could be as a football player. Everything else take care of itself.
Jeff, how did it feel, Jeff, I guess, to be back out there and get camp underway?
I felt great, man. The energies were there today. I'm just happy to be back with my teammates, man. Just be out there on the field. Everyone happy. Everyone, especially on defense. I'm over there with defense. We're trying to be juiced up. And I think that's the message, man. Come out here and just try to be better each and every day.
Coming into this year a little bit different from the defense last year, kind of knowing what you have, the guys that are back.
Last year don't matter. It's all about what can we contribute to the defense this year. Because if you want to talk about last year, we weren't good enough. We didn't win the Super Bowl. So, it's all about each and every day, especially in camp, because this is where it matters. This is where we build our team, and this is where we build our culture here in camp.
Jeff, how do you feel the plan you had for yourself this offseason worked and prepared you for today?
I'm feeling great. I could tell that just the way I've been moving today, with just the way I've been taking care of my body and then what I put in my body. Just everything shows out here and you can feel it. I just feel great. It's probably the best I've felt in coming into a training camp. So just me being consistent with everything and all my the stuff that I said I was going to do this offseason. I've been feeling great today.
What is the weight difference right now from last year to this year?
It's totally different. Like I said, I weighed in yesterday at 309. So, that's one of the things that, I want to keep consistent by staying, right around that or under that. So I think that'll help me and help this team.
What did you play at last year if you're 309 now?
It was up and down. Last year I was probably around, right around 315, probably sometime more than that, just depend. Like I said, this year, my goal and my I guess, what I'm supposed to be doing is consistent. That's what I'm focused on, consistent.
With that adjusted weight, do you feel like you're quicker? And what were some of the things you did during the offseason to that footwork and everything to speed it up?
That's just this thing, when you light, especially playing my position, you're not feeling, especially like this camp, you always hear guys get camp legs. That's something I feel like that'll help me out, especially later on down the camp, these days in camp, just by conditioning my legs with that type of weight I have on me is what tire me down quick, But, I did a lot of stuff with footwork-wise, especially with my uncle. I'm up there in Dallas, we did a lot of feet work, ladders, always, keeping my feet moving through the rush and all that. So it just, like I said, repetition is everything. So
I know strength was a big thing for you, especially like the bull rush. Is there a trade-off?
Nah, because I for one, playing defensive line, you got to have, tools. And, I know what type of rush I am, especially when it comes down to pass rush. I know can't no one stop the bull. So, I'm not going to take that out of my game just because, I picked up another tool or trying to learn another tool.
Titans defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons, after practice today, no one going to stop the bull. I like that. hey, he wasn't having any bull at the beginning of that either.
No,
even though,
how funny was that?
That was awesome. But, look, Jared had to ask the question, and we count on Jared to go ask the questions like that. And
he had to needle him a little bit.
That's all right. That's all right. But here's the positive I take of that. He's here.
Yeah,
he's
practicing. So it's really a non-story.
Yeah, and he said, I'm not talking about the contract.
I don't know how you feel about it, Derek, but the fact that he's practicing, I think everybody knows this deal is going to get done. They are not going to let him go. They will pay him whatever they have to pay him. It's just a matter of negotiating it and when they do it. But in the meantime, as long as he's playing and he's not letting the contract affect what he does on a daily basis, this is going to get done.
Yeah, it's going to get done. It probably will get done quicker than what the Titans wanted to because they are an organization that's known for, if you have years on your contract, we're not trying to, redo your contract and
do you believe
give
that?
you a whole new contract.
Do you believe that they'll get it done?
I think they will try to get it done sometime this year. And I told Willy this.
But it's a matter of when. It's not
if.
Just
if. It's going to get done. It's when. My thing, I think I told you this, Willy. I said they want to get this deal done, or it might have been you, Chase. I said they want to get this deal done because new representation, new representation isn't getting old money from old contract. You know, new representation gets new money from new contract. So, if what would be, advantageous for me is if I'm coming in now representing you after you've already signed your rookie contract and you playing the way you were playing, Willie, I need to get you a new deal so I can get paid.
That's interesting. So a new agent who doesn't have a lot of clients, the earlier you get it done, the quicker you start getting attractive to other clients and more money in your pocket.
Yeah, I don't know if his agent has many clients or not, but I'm just saying.
Well, isn't he kind of a new? Well, I guess he just signed on with Simmons. No, I guess we have to look at who else he represents.
But I'm saying he doesn't. Whoever his representation is now doesn't get monies from last contract. You only get monies from new contracts. So they want to get a deal done. His agent wants to get the deal done so he can get money in his pocket. And obviously, Jeffrey has earned it. But he's right. Listen, I'm concentrating on football. I'm here. I'm not holding out. I'm going to participate. I'm going to do whatever they ask me to do, and we'll get a deal done, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's the right move. I mean, and I think he could get rewarded for that. The Titans, John Robinson, could look at that and say, hey, this is a guy that truly is team first and wants to be here, so let's take care of it. And I think it's more advantageous for the Titans to get it done now than it would be to wait, because if he has a breakout year, even more of a breakout year than he already has, which I think he's going to go up. Exactly. It's going to drive the price up. So I thought it was also interesting. He mentioned his weight and that his weight is down. He's getting quicker. You see his defensive linemen like that as they advance in the league, and they're in the league for a while. They try and do that to stay on top of that because, look, he was effective last year, but how much is how effective can a leaner, quicker Jeff Simmons be?
So what is the ideal weight in your mind? Derek, he said he played at 315 last year. He's down around 309 right now.
I think for that position, and I think Aaron Donald not re-energized that position, he's made it so you got to reevaluate that position in a sense, because Aaron Donald, I don't even think he's 300 pounds. Aaron Donald, I think he's right at the high 290s or probably right at 300. And typically you want your, D linemen to be bigger than that because those offensive linemen are bigger. But what, Aaron Donald and guys before him has shown, it's not necessarily about how much I weigh. It's about my leverage and my balance and my strength in my lower body. And I think just Big Jeff is starting to figure that out. Like, listen, Aaron Donald is doing this at a high 290. He's not 310, 320. So I can do it at 305, 309.
And still be strong enough, not lose the strength.
I don't have to be 320, or 315 like he said he was last year. I can do what I need to do and be effective and be one of the best, if not the best, at 305, 309.
Jeffrey Simmons in 2020, where I think we all thought, hey, this is a force, right? Yeah. He's getting it. He's a year removed from the ACL. He had 3 sacks in 2020 and 21 hurries. Last year, that jumped to 8.5 sacks and 34 hurries. So he was third. This is Football Outsiders. He was third in pressures and first in solo sacks among defenders that line up in the 3 technique. So that is golden, right? When you have a guy that has that kind of pass rush from the middle, that does wonders for the other guys around him. And so can you imagine if he goes up even just a slight notch in terms of strength and speed and improvement? That's scary good.
There's a couple
that goes to your theory, Chase, of pay me now as opposed to pay me later, because the price is only going to go up. The value is only going to go up.
615-737-1025 if you want to weigh on anything Titans on our text or phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Coming up next, a couple of nuggets from Mike Vrabel's press conference that I find interesting. We'll share those with you. Caroline Fenton scheduled to join us as well as you listen to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live from Titans training camp, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Smashville's best sports talk.
The back-hander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 27th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. It's clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also a gift that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Jump into the thrill at Bally's Evansville Casino with 24-hour gaming excitement, 3 dining options, and 2 first-class hotels. Plan your casino getaway now at Bally'sEvansville.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Charlotte Knights at First Horizon Park.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Back here, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you. Mike Vrabel just wrapping up his press conference. We may try and play a little bit of that for you later on, but some notes coming out of that. I start with this, and Derek, I don't know how much you read into off-season awards and the workout stuff, but we made such a big deal about who was here and who wasn't here for off-season training. Mike Vrabel says the offseason awards went to Dylan Radence, Dez Fitzpatrick, Torrey Carter, DeMarcus Walker, Amani Hooker, and Caleb Farley. I don't know how much stock you really put into that, but what that tells me is they were here working.
Yeah, and as a head coach, because they keep track of guys that are here. And, when I was playing, whether it be here or in Baltimore, if you participated in 97% or 95% of the off-season workouts, then you didn't have to run the conditioning test because they felt, hey, listen, we've seen you every day, so we know what condition you're in. So we're not going to subject you to, the conditioning test. So Guys that are here all the time. Caleb Farley needed to be here. He's a guy that's coming off an injury.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure
Fitzpatrick needed to be here.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick
he got
needed
cut
to
last
be
year.
exactly. So these guys needed to be here. Traylon Burks, after his minicamp, he needed to be here, and he's been here, and he's shown that he's gotten adapted to the NFL way of conditioning. So does it in a big scheme of things? Probably not, because some guys that come every day, they're not even on the team once camp is done, but what it does show is that when we do start camp, you're ready to go.
I'll tell you what, it reminds me of way back. This is what I wonder about the actual recognition, like the off-season award. Like you said, in the grand scheme of things, nobody's going to remember who won the off-season. No fan.
Who won 2002's off-season
yeah,
award?
Yeah, like when you were playing for the Titans, I don't know if they gave out that award, but you probably don't remember.
Thing.
Let's see. 2002 was
Kevin Daft.
Kevin Daft.
I have no idea.
But I think you try. I've always thought that your picks, a guy like Dylan Radins, who, when they picked him, they had a role in mind for him. Same thing with Caleb Farley, obviously. Fitzpatrick to a lesser degree, but still, a guy that they cut. They delivered a statement to him last year. You're not ready to play in this league. He had to work his way back to just get back on the team, let alone be in the plans. But I've always felt like the higher you are picked, the more invested they are in you.
Sure.
And the more they're looking at you. They're going to give you chances to win the off-season award. They're going to be watching you closely. When I was with the Blue Jays in the minors, we always called it the NP Club. Guys like me, the non-prospect club, right? So there was a group of us, right, that always would observe, right, a 25th round pick like me. They weren't watching me as closely, right? I had to jump out at them. Whereas the first round pick, the second round pick, the guys that they invested $250,000 in or $1 million, as soon as that person made a good play in spring training, look at that! How about that? He's really getting bigger and stronger. Man, he's made some progress. I do the same thing. We're like, I didn't see.
That's Willy Donick.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, you see that over here? You see what I just did? That was a double up the gap, right? You didn't like that swing right there?
The 14th pick in the draft.
They want the investment, the guys that they've invested in, drafted in, to do what they're going to give them chances to succeed. So what do we read into that? I don't know, but. I mean, it's a cause for optimism, right? It means that they were doing what, like you were saying, they needed to be here.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be given too much of an award for just doing what they were supposed to do.
Anytime the head coach can make a positive comment about Dylan Radins, Des Fitzpatrick, and Caleb Farley, that's going to catch my attention. And winning off-season awards, that's a positive comment. And
it's just building blocks. You build one on top of the other, and as a player, about yourself going into camp.
Yeah. And I noticed Farley out here today. When we got here, he was out there. That's good. He's not on the PUP list. Here's another thing that is positive when it comes to injury. Vrabel also said everything the doctors have said about wide receiver Robert Woods' recovery is, quote, favorable. He practiced without the knee brace today.
I noticed that. Some of those early videos, when the early birds who get here right at the beginning and you're allowed to video, they showed him without the knee brace. Now, I did have a torn ACL, and that is something that first time you take the knee brace off is, you got to feel comfortable running around. And different guys have different philosophies. I've seen, for example, some college teams, I don't think they do it anymore, but back in the day, you remember offensive linemen used to wear, even if they never hurt their knee, they would have those guys wear those knee braces. But I think some things have evolved there. But I think that's probably a confidence thing for
Michigan
Robert
State,
Woods.
even the receivers had to wear them my freshman year. Yeah.
Really? Even if you didn't have a knee injury?
Even if you didn't have a knee injury, you had to wear that knee brace. But we retrofitted them. But you got to understand, it was 1993, and ACLs was really the big thing. So they wanted to make sure, they did exactly what they needed to do, especially during camp, so you wouldn't get hurt. But we retrofitted them, and, they were there, but didn't feel like they were there half the time. But then it got to a point where, after your freshman season, sophomore season, you start to slowly come out of them. You start putting on long pants so the coaches can't see if you get on your knee braces or not. So,
What do you guys think of this text coming from Gator Tim on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com? We were talking about Jeffrey Simmons. He says Aaron Donald is 6'1", 285. Simmons is 6'5". He would be ineffective under 300 pounds.
I guess the bigger the frame, you generally think you're going to be carrying more weight. I didn't think about that. I think it's a fair point. But I think the principle that you're saying, Derek, is still the same. It's not exact. It's not about necessarily gaining more weight or losing more weight. It's what's the right weight to have the maximum strength and agility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's how do I? That's why these guys now they work. Back in the day you never seen a big guy work footwork because to them it's like I'm not a receiver, I'm not a running back. Why do I need to work cone drills and ladder drills? That's not what I do. I'm in the trenches. I just need to lift a bunch of weights and squat. Well, now it's all about having that base. They look at it more so like a wrestler. Having that base, in wrestling, it's not necessarily the strongest guy is going to win. Who has the best technique? Who has the best base? Who has the strongest lower body, to get you in a position? Rugby is sort of the same way. So these guys are now figuring it out. Like, I don't have to put all this strain on my bones and my organs to be this heavy to think that's the only way I'm going to be effective. Well, I can drop some weight and still be effective, but have it in the right places.
You know what I think about when you say that? They used to say that a lot about Mark Stepnoski. Remember him?
Yeah, and he was small.
He was a smaller center. He played for Dallas for a lot of those great teams, and then he came to the Tennessee Oilers, and I don't think he actually was still on – no, he never played for the, quote, Titans. He was on the Tennessee Oilers.
He came here first – I think he was here that first year. And possibly that second year, but after that, no. When we changed the name, he was already gone.
Right, but I remember seeing him. This was our first year in this town covering an NFL team. So that's Mark Stepnoski from those great Dallas. He's not a real big guy, but that's what they used to say. He was the best at the leverage. He was really good at what you were talking about.
I just need to get leverage. That's all.
That's all he needed to do. And Jeff Van Note, back in the day, he was a great lineman for the Falcons that was doing the games. Back then, he would always make that point in watching Stepnoski. You guys had some really good offensive lineman veterans on those first couple of teams.
Well, if you look at guys, I mean, even the late, great Reggie White, I know he was a big guy, but it was a lot of his base and his power in his legs and his arm. Because there's no way that, a 300 pound, right at a 300 pounds should be able to throw a 350 guy with one arm. And Reggie White was able to do it. Why? Because of his strength and his base. He always had good feet placement or foot placement, and that's what Jeffrey Simmons is talking about, working ladders, cone drills, foot placement, doing these extra things that necessarily, it may not look like, it will work, but once I get in the game and I start, making those things that I work with in practice start materializing in the game, I mean, then you see. This is why these guys are great and these guys are good, okay?
Mike Vrabel saying there was a lot of energy and urgency in day one of practice, which is obviously what you want to see. So good things there coming from the head coach. Also, he's talked a lot about Treylon Burks. So coming up next, you will hear from rookie wide receiver Treylon Burks as he met with the media earlier today. We are live at Titans training camp here at St. Thomas Sports Park, and all of our training camp coverage is presented by USA Hemp Store and Parman Energy, your one-stop shop for petroleum, or your one-stop petroleum solution. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. More scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible this afternoon and evening. High temperature today up to 94. Heat index up to 103.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
For the first time, saddle up in Smashville. 6:30 this Saturday at Nissan Stadium. for WWE SummerSlam. See undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns face Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. Liv Morgan defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Pat McAfee vows to shut down Happy Corbin, and more. Free seats are still available, and tickets start at $25 at Ticketmaster.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. So don't let it sit there. Use it. Willie Donick here for my friends once again at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards, or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home, or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home, and the payments are crazy low. Think what you could do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This September, the Chainsmokers hit Music City at the Blended Wine and Music Festival. 24 bands, 2 stages, 1 weekend, all under the Nashville skyline. Performances by the Chainsmokers, Loud Luxury, Sick Kick, Fetty Wap, Breland, and more. September 10th and 11th, the ultimate social experience drops in Music City. Enjoy a massive 100-foot wine tent, culinary village, and wellness lounge. Get tickets now at blendedfestival.com.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here at Titans Training Camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Coming up at 12:30, we're going to need class participation. But you're going to have the opportunity to ask D-Mase anything you want, within reason, about Titans. And the best question will win tickets to see Elton John. But you must participate. You must bring the passion, as Terry Crisp likes to say, and ask D-Mase some questions. Something that we're going to do a lot more of here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase during this football season. Traylon Burks, somebody that has questions, and we've talked a lot about during the offseason. He talked to the media earlier today.
Pretty good difference. Just say, really with my, asthma and my breathing, just being able to, handle it a lot better, and just being out here with the team just makes it even more better.
What are some things you did to handle the asthma better?
Conditioning, running, putting myself in situations where I knew that my asthma would flare up, and just being able to push through it and just be dominant.
Should you have done a little bit more here? Like going away seasonally? Is that like more of a summer thing and the football season is better?
Honestly, I just, condition and keep conditioning until, I don't feel it no more, and, just making sure that I'm taking my inhaler before practice, after practice, just staying on top of everything.
Should you have done more of that stuff before you?
Say it again?
Should you have done more of that stuff before you showed up here the first time?
I would say yeah. That's just being accountable, and I should have took a better, attack on that. And, now that I am, you can tell a big difference.
Did the asthma affect you more here, Traylon, than it did in college? Because it didn't seem to be a issue.
I would say my freshman and sophomore year, it was, it kind of messed with me a little bit. But once I got to my junior year, I was so much more acclimated into the system and knowing my role and, wanting to be better at my position, and I just attacked it.
How important was it just for you, for your own peace of mind and comfortability standpoint, was to come out today and have a good showing on day one, given what you've gone through over the past few months?
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I really wasn't thinking like that. I was just thinking go out there, practice like a pro, be a pro, and just be a part of the team and, just play my role like Coach Vrabel says every day. And I'll just show up and, gain that respect from Ryan and also everybody else on the team, all the vets, and, just let them know that, I'm not here just to, make money. I'm here to win the championship.
What did you feel like it was
through that catch, that first catch on the side?
Say it one more time.
Talk us through that first catch at the side.
Honestly, I just had a fade ball and just went and made a play for Ryan just to, gain that respect and also just let him know that, I'm going to always be there when he needs something.
How's the playbook coming for you, Traylon?
Like with Coach Vrabel in the spring about your health and trying to get back in shape?
Honestly, he was just telling me to just take it one day at a time. Everything's going to take care of itself. And, don't harp on myself too much because, it happens to the best of, the best people. And, just attack it day by day and everything's going to be all right.
How much is it on your concern?
I was concerned at one point just because, I couldn't even, go, and it was getting to me. And then, he came and talked to me and just told me, don't worry about it. Just keep attacking it every day. And then,
were you having conversations with Tannehill as well? Because he's a guy that builds trust. He builds chemistry early on, and that's something he's made clear.
Correct. I would just say during this offseason, we were throwing, just making connections, just letting them know, him telling me where I need to be in certain routes and just going up and make plays.
All the reps you took were with Dez and not kind of what we would assume on the first team where Nick is. How bad do you want to be on that first team with Robert, with Derek, with the rest of the starting group?
Man, I'm just playing my role. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm just going to attack every opportunity that I get, and I'm attack it to the best of my ability.
How did you feel overall about your first day?
There's still things that I can improve on, and just being there and, improve just to make our team better is what I'm going to do.
That's the playbook they're coming for you, Traylon.
Really good. Yes, sir, really good.
There you go, Traylon Burks, Titans wide receiver, talking to the media. I want to start with the second to last question, the one that Jared asked. He gave the humble player, I'm just here, doing my role, doing my thing. I want to hear him go, hell yeah, I want to be on the first team. I know you don't say that, but if he did, I would have been okay with it because I know that's in his mind. He's thinking that. I'm here to compete, to win a starting job, to be a factor for this team. And you could hear the hesitation there, he wanted to say it, but he knew that, or he felt like he kind of had to give you the humble answer. Derek, what's your thought on that?
I mean, everybody in this building knows that they want him to be the one eventually, or they eventually want him to be in that starting rotation. So he doesn't have to come out and say it. It's evident. They drafted me in the first round. They traded away, the number one receiver and then drafted me. So, it's almost as if it's like one of those deals where, okay, I know the building expects me to be the one or be in a starting rotation. I don't need to say it. All I need to do is work hard and prove to them that the pick was right and that I'm the guy that could eventually be the number one guy.
And, Chase, I would add that if that question were being asked on August 27th, it might have a little more impact if he was still running on the second team by then. But on July 27th, I think it's only right that you start as a rookie and you work your way up, and hopefully it doesn't take that long because we're really enthusiastic. We're ready. We've been waiting for this all summer, but we know how this works, right? We got a month of this. We got weeks of going through the same questions that we're hashing out. We've been hashing out since the end of the OTAs. So a lot of this will shake out naturally. So I think his answer was the appropriate answer at this point. And it really doesn't matter. We're not even going to remember what he said in a month.
No, but I think here's an example. Kevin Dyson got drafted. I think he was somewhere around that same range that Traylon was in the teens. And he didn't start day one as the number one guy or the starter.
He wasn't even active for some of those
so
games.
it's like, but he ended up being the number one guy. Eventually he ended up being a starter. So whether it's the first day of camp or the third or fourth game into the season, as long as he becomes the starter and the number one guy eventually, that's all they care about.
I was also I like a guy that takes ownership of things. And Paul Karski asked him about, do you think there's some things you could have done differently when it came to conditioning and stuff like that? And he was very quick to say yes. And it's all about accountability. And you can sit here and go, okay, well, that's what you're supposed to say. But the tone of his voice made me feel like, no, he really was being accountable for that. And I like that a lot. That shows me the character of the player that they've drafted. And everything I've heard to this point makes me feel really good about the character of Treylon Burks.
And we should say, he showed up. I mean, today in the first practice, he was catching some passes. He was very, very noticeable out there, which is a great sign.
I noticed
made it through start to finish.
Racey McMath.
Yeah.
Those two.
But Derek, he answered. I think he was ready for the questions that all of us were asking in the summer when all that stuff was happening. And so that shows me, he was smart enough to know those questions were coming, and he was ready to answer them. But B, I think he was very confident that he had addressed why he wasn't able to get through the practices, and he feels a lot better about it now. To me, he just exuded a lot of confidence there because he was willing to answer those questions.
Well, I mean, it's better to put it out there, and so you don't have people speculating and making up their own story. So I get to control the narrative. At the beginning, he wasn't able to control the narrative.
Right,
it wasn't until the position coach said, hey, listen, this kid has asthma, okay? This is what it's about, all right? So now that everybody know, we can control the narrative with Treylon Burks, not everyone making up a story what they think it is.
Yeah, and I think that's important. And Vrabel is doing the same thing. Vrabel has said some nice things about him. You can tell that Vrabel is like I said earlier about Julio Jones. You knew that Vrabel was not on. They weren't on the same page. I feel like they are on the same page. Our Treylon Burks and Mike Vrabel as the wind picks up a little bit here at training camp, and that's important. I mean, this is a guy that, whether, as we've said, whether he likes it or anyone likes it or not, he is replacing A.J. Brown.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And they are going to try to control that narrative as much as they can, but I think they're going to be calculated on how they answer some questions. Like when Bud Dupree quickly deflected away talk about last year. I think that's a team-wide thing. And I think a team-wide thing is going to be to try not to overhype Treylon Burks as much as they can, but just take it day by day. You heard Mike Vrabel say yesterday, we're confident that he's addressed some of the things that needed to be addressed from the OTAs, but I'm not going to sit here and predict whether a guy's going to be on the field every day for practice. We just don't know. But everybody, you can't avoid the fact that everybody is going to be having him under the microscope every day. That's just part of the story here.
Hey, listen, they traded away the number one. They drafted you. Y'all always will be compared.
He's going to be under the microscope.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
Ryan Tannehill addressing the media right now. First few questions have been about Treylon Burks. He says if Treylon Burks can make plays down the field consistently like he did in 7-on-7 today, it will give him confidence to trust Burks and throw the ball his way. It's been fun having him back out there and gives a lot of confidence.
Today is Ryan Tannehill's 34th birthday.
Happy
34
birthday.
years old.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Happy birthday to Ryan Tannehill. Coming up next, we will continue to talk about some things that the Titans quarterback is saying right now to the media. We'll hear a little bit of that as well. Coming up at 12:30, ask D-Mase for a chance to win Elton John tickets. It's Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans Training Camp, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game.
Line to left, coming on Newstrom. Base hit, Soundswind.
We talk The Game.
But they knew he'd be really good. Well, if they don't make that move, they don't win those championships.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis, or an injury, you know the traditional treatments: pain meds, steroids, and then surgery, right? Willy Donick here with great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds can be addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out. The new way is in. Regenerative medicine, restoring and repairing damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics and their protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life you deserve. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game. Second flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Live at Titans training camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 12 o'clock hour. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, and Derek Mason. We tried to get D-Mase to try out, but I don't think it's going to happen. I was hoping. I just want to see you catch one pass from Tannehill.
I mean, I catch it, but
with defenders on the field, or just
I catch
it.
I want to see you on the field.
I want to see you go one-on-one with. Ooh, this is good. Who do I want you to go one-on-one with? Christian Fulton.
I go one-on-one with
you
all
and
of
Fulton.
them. But you gotta let me stretch. Let me get a few.
Get stretched.
You
and Fulton one-on-one.
Acclimated to the field again. And
I want to make this happen.
If we go one-on-one 10 times, yeah, I would beat him at least 7.
I'm going to ask J-Rob tomorrow if we can make this happen.
I'll beat him at least 7.
That would be a made-for-TV/radio event.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
I play the Z, which means I'm off the ball, so he can't sit up there and try to jam me. But I would welcome the jam. I still got to.
You're not shying away from the jam.
Nah, I ain't shying away from it. No.
I just want to see, like,
give me a helmet
after,
and
like,
some
the
shoulder
third
pads.
or fourth route, like, they start chirping at each other.
Now,
I keep going.
Would you have to pace yourself for 10 reps?
All
Like,
right,
how would reps
let's ask
9 and
Teron.
10?
I want to ask Teron. Mason, one-on-one with Fulton.
We're going 10 reps.
10 reps.
Oh, yeah, you got to give me a minute to stretch and get acclimated to the field. No, now.
Now. Like right now.
I'm telling you right now. Hey, listen, I'm telling you,
said
I'm
now.
telling you right now, I would beat him 7 out of 10 times. Yes, 7 out of 10 times.
He says 4.
Okay, 4. 48. 48.
Give him the mic. Give him the mic.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
we got to break this
48
down.
years old. I still can stop and go. I still run some routes every now and then.
This is the thing, and I know from experience.
Uh-huh.
Now, I never was at your level.
Uh-huh.
I'm 46, and I know that the relay, the thought process of, hey, I'm going to throttle down, shout my feet, and then accelerate. I know that relay there is not
from
as
the brain
bad.
to the leg.
That's the issue. That's the issue. You know,
Okay, I get ready to stop. I can't stop.
yeah. You get down in that break. You know you get low. You can't always get back up as quickly. So that's my only issue.
Hey, you got a point there. You got
Yeah.
a point there.
At least there's still a relay. I think my body at 51, I'm dropping the baton. the relay ends. Yeah, it's a disconnect. It's over.
I told him, I said, I want to see you catch like one route, one pass from Tannehill, just like old times. And then Willie goes, defended or not defended? And that's where that came from.
Yeah, well, you know, got to get a good chiropractor. He'll keep you in shape.
Hey, man, just need to.
Just
one
10
thing,
reps. All we're asking is 10
stretch
reps.
my hamstrings and my Achilles. That's it.
Yeah.
If I stretch my hamstrings and
Hamstrings
Achilles.
especially.
Yeah.
Don't want you out there running like there's a sniper up there. You know how that goes.
All right, TD, thank you so much.
Yep,
Appreciate
for
your
sure.
input.
All right.
Teron Davenport, Talking with TD is the podcast. He's headed to do that right now, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Get ready to go. Well, for that, Caroline's going to stop over in just a second. We'll hear a little bit more of what Mike Vrabel, Ryan Tannehill had to say as she's making her way over here in a second. But, you know, we kid. You were talking about the corners earlier, and I actually do feel pretty good about the corners. So I think that this cornerback group, and obviously Caleb Farley is going to be a huge part of it, but I feel better about him. I'm not as concerned about the corners.
Listen, my concern is not that they can't play, because they've proven that they can play. It's just, you know, with the influx of all of these really good receivers and tight ends, and then the depth of the cornerback position, that's what I'm worried about. You know, have they logged in enough hours, so to speak? And then if one of these guys get hurt, you know, especially now, you don't have the necessary depth to say, hey, listen, we can throw this guy in and we feel comfortable in what we're doing. That's my concern, is the depth and the inexperience of this secondary, because I don't think anyone, at least the starting 2 or 3, if you look at them, no one has over 3 years of experience, 3 years of experience. So this is a young secondary, but they benefit from having Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, Harold Landry, and Bud Dupree on that front, up front. It helps them get to the passer, which means I don't have to cover as long.
They don't have the Jackrabbit Jenkins.
Exactly.
They don't have the Malcolm Butler, that sort of veteran that you lean on.
Buster Screen just
even
retired,
those guys.
so, you know, it's always good to have a veteran guy in that secondary.
Caroline Fenton is with us from Stillman and Company, featuring Caroline Fenton weekdays from 2 to 6. Here on 102.5 The Game is Jared Wall. Jared's got the sweat towel going. Like, come on, man.
Does he have on his Titan blue?
Also, I don't think we talk enough about how
blue.
Jared looks like Johnny Titan fan.
Yeah, he does look like Johnny Titan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he would be giving everyone else hell for wearing that
Homer.
Because he's standing there going, J-Rob! Hey, J-Rob, it's me!
John, I can play in the offensive line if you need me. It's me, Jared. You know me.
Fanboy.
Yeah,
Fanboy.
fanboy Stillman. In his two-tone blue.
I was reading some of the quotes from Mike Vrabel earlier today, and he mentioned, you know, the offseason awards. But Dylan Radunz, Des Fitzpatrick, Caleb Farley, all on that list. which, off-season awards at the end of the day don't mean a whole lot. But the fact that he's talking positively about those guys and they were here doing the work, that does make me feel pretty good.
And I think the thing about off-season awards is it at least gives us a glimpse behind the curtain of what's been going on in that room since we haven't been here in this 6 to 8 weeks since we haven't been to minicamp. And I think hearing Dylan Radin's name was very interesting to me because we hear all the time, he doesn't have the desire to win that job. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think that Dylan Radin has kind of been in there grinding. But the name that really sticks out to me is Des Fitzpatrick. Yeah. That's a guy in training camp last year that really didn't wow me in any way, and a guy going into this season that I thought this is a stacked wide receiver room, and I don't know if he's going to be one of the, let's say, 6 guys that's going to be on that roster come the Giants game. But the more and more that I see from Des Fitzpatrick, the more and more I hear from Mike Vrabel about Des Fitzpatrick. He looks way more physical. He looks way more confident out there, and they believe in him. They've been name-dropping Des Fitzpatrick the past couple of days, so I think Des Fitzpatrick is one that is going to be really interesting to look at.
Yeah, because this receiver battle is
It's a competitive receiver room.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Treylon Burks talked today, took some accountability for his off-season conditioning, which that impressed me. I like hearing a guy take accountability. He seems like a character guy, and hopefully all that translates on the field as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Treylon Burks, he talked about his asthma and how he came into rookie minicamp. Maybe he wasn't doing the things that he needed to do, transitioning into taking his inhaler before for practice. That, to me, doesn't really – that's not kind of a non-starter in my opinion. It's more so his physicality, because what I saw from him today versus what we saw from him, early in rookie minicamp and voluntary OTAs was he looks thinner, he looks leaner, he looks more explosive. I saw him in voluntary minicamp, and he just looked lethargic. He looked sluggish. He was sitting himself out of drills because I don't know what the issue was. He looks leaner. He looks way more aggressive. We all saw that first catch in practice. He a diving catch. It was a great catch. So what I saw from Treylon Burks is not just the accountability about the asthma. It was more so I could tell that he was taking accountability in the offseason because I could see it with my own eyes.
Now, Carolyn, obviously they were not in pads today, and I'm not sure if they're going to be in pads tomorrow. But are you truly looking forward to that? Because that's my thing. It's great to see these young men run around and in shorts and helmets, catch passes. Guys can't touch you. But once you get on the pads, then I can get a true barometer of who you are as a player.
And that's the difficult thing about training camp is you see all these crazy plays, and I also have to think in the back of my mind, would that be a play that was made if you were wearing pads and if there was a defender coming at you 100%? It's nice to see, physically how they look. It's nice to see, the technique on the field, because those are things that are going to exist whether you have pads on or not. But I'm excited to see, with the pads on, does Treylon Burks make that catch? I'm excited to see, with the pads on, can the offensive line protect Ryan Tannehill? So it's little things like that. It's fun to watch in training camp, and it's also difficult. And everything's all good in training camp. So I'm excited to see when the pads come on, are those same plays going to be made? And also who sticks out both positively and negatively once those pads are on and once you're going 100%.
Now, did you see anything good from Malik Willis? I saw him complete a short in route right on the button, to the guy. I think it was McMath. 13, because he changed his number.
Yeah.
Completed right there, short in route, caught it in stride, and then got up the field. So have you seen anything else good from Willis?
I think a lot of things that I was concerned about with Blake Willis was more so his command of being under center, because I look at his time at Liberty, it was one-word play calls. It was a very simplistic offense. So I was worried about, can Malik Willis make that transition into much more sophisticated plays and much longer play? You're doing 12-word play calls there. And that was something that I asked Mike Vrabel, how has he developed until now, and how do you want to see him continue to develop? And he said it's taking those mental reps and getting himself more acclimated into having that command under center. So he's been making those developments. I think that the accuracy is something that I've seen. It's something that Mike Vrabel pointed out that Malik Willis just needs to fine tune. But to me, I think getting the understanding of being a play caller and having command, that's the bigger thing, because the technicality will come.
Exactly.
Yep, and it's no hurry. We're talking to Caroline Fenton. You'll hear her a lot this afternoon with Jared, starting at 2 o'clock. Give us your early take, we touched on Radens.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider him a big favorite to start that right tackle spot? Is it his to lose, or do you think we'll hear more about the competition there, plus at left guard?
If it's his, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's his to lose, but if I had to put $100 on the table today for who I think is going to be lining up at right tackle, I think it's Dylan Radens. I can't divulge a ton of information of what we saw, but that's probably my choice at right tackle. And my next question is, who else is it going to be? Who else do you feel more confident at that position? Do I feel great about Dylan Radens, being the starting right tackle? Not really, but I also look at the rest of this offensive line room. I don't know who else would be kind of dominant in that position. I look at Aaron Brewer probably at that left guard position. I think it's kind of a revolving door at this point at training camp. And I don't know if it was Mike Vrabel that mentioned it yesterday, but that offensive line position as a whole, the left guard position, the right tackle position, there's still a competition going on. So, we see Aaron Brewer probably in contention for that left guard position. For me, it's kind of a question mark. But right now where it stands, I would say that Dylan Radens is most likely your right tackle.
Perks of being the suit, I get the grid of what Jared and Caroline are going to do. Apparently, Jared
peek behind the curtain, if you will.
Yeah, apparently Jared thinks Aaron Brewer's not fat enough, so he's good.
Some guys are too fat, some guys aren't fat enough. I thought we were done with the physique conversations, but clearly no, we're not.
But we'll be looking forward to hearing that starting at 2:00. Caroline, thanks so much for stopping by, and football is here.
Football, baby.
Yes,
all right, appreciate
absolutely.
y'all.
Caroline Fenton, one half of Stillman and Company, weekdays 2 to 6. Here on 102.5, 106.3 The game. The day? The game?
The day.
Willy.
Today is the game.
Yeah, Willy has some numbers on Nick Westbrook-Akina. We will talk about that coming up next on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Join 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and Newton Motor Group this summer to help kids in Middle Tennessee. We're teaming up with Souls for Souls to provide shoes to children experiencing homelessness in Nashville and the surrounding area for back to school. Our goal is to raise $20,000, which will provide 1,000 pairs of shoes for kids. To help, go to thegamenashville.com/shoes. Let's do some good this summer. Newton Motor Group is a proud sponsor of Souls for Music City. Newton Motor Group, the best car deals in Nashville. Start at Newton. Visit thegamenashville.com/shoes.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. A York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
The first 1,000 fans to the Nashville Sounds game tonight can add a pair of Sounds Slide sandals to their closet. You can snag a $10 general admission ticket right now. Plus, it's a winning Wednesday, so if the Sounds win, all fans get to run the bases after the game. Grab your tickets today at NashvilleSounds.com.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Jump into the thrill at Bally's Evansville Casino. Play to win with lots of slots and live and electronic cable games. Visit the High Limit Room for an elevated experience. Take a break with a cold tap house brew or a snack at the deli. For more elegant dining, check out the flavors, river views, and music at Kavanaugh's. Enjoy a relaxing stay at the Bally's Hotel or the luxurious Legends Tower. Plan your casino getaway at Bally'sEvansville.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. This September, the Chainsmokers hit Music City at the Blended Wine and Music Festival. 24 bands, 2 stages, 1 weekend, all under the Nashville skyline. Performances by the Chainsmokers, Loud Luxury, Sick Kick, Fetty Wap, Breland, and more. September 10th and 11th, the ultimate social experience drops in Music City. Enjoy a massive 100-foot wine tent, culinary village, and wellness lounge. Get tickets now at blendedfestival.com. Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
When Smashville wants to rock.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Looking to the sky, saving, looking for a sign of life, 'cause it's too cold for you here.
We are Nashville's rock station. 102.9 The Buzz. We want to hear from you. Thanks for taking the call. Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
We are your racing station, 102.5, 106.3. The Game is Nashville's home for NASCAR. Tune in this Sunday at 12:30 for the Verizon 200 from the Brickyard. You can also join me every Sunday morning at 8 for Chasing Checkers. I'll talk to some of the drivers and get you set for race weekend. NASCAR on 102.5, 106.3. The Game is presented by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Going to talk to Jeff Burton from NASCAR on NBC this week on the show. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase out at Titans training camp. And before we get to NWI, we were talking a little bit about, and Teron stopped by. Derek, you say you could go 10 reps against Christian Fulton one-on-one. Henry on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, Dr. Elrod, line one after these 10 reps.
That's why I told you I have to get a really good stretch. More importantly, the hamstrings and Achilles. But TD was right, man. You know, as athletes, we think, you know, if I continue to work out, which I have been, and continue to condition myself, which I have been, no way nearer to what I was when I was playing. But you always think, like, man, I can still do it. But then once you get out there, that disconnect with your brain and your legs, it's like, okay, stop. Your brain says stop, but your legs keep going.
Yeah.
Or the legs can't come out of the break. It happened to me when I was racing my son a few years ago. Thought I still had it. And I raced DJ. And Bailey said go. And I couldn't move for a quick second, and DJ just dusted me twice. That's when I said, yeah, I'd never race this kid again.
No, you're done.
Exactly.
You're done. And see, I would feel bad, like I get you, you know, we get this set up, and I get you out there, and then I just see you go down grab.
I wouldn't disappoint. I wouldn't disappoint, believe me.
Oh, I know. That fire's still there. That's the thing.
Because I know how to gauge my body. It's not like I just come out like a bullet. You know, I know how to gauge my body, and it may look like I'm running fast, but I'm not running fast. It's all about balance.
Well, and the worst part would be, you know, they put you out there against, I won't say Christian Fulton, but they put you out against somebody and you toast them, and then the next day we get a release, so-and-so's been released. That would not be good.
Yeah, we do have to think of the big picture.
Yes. Let's think of the big picture here, fellas.
But you have some numbers on Nick Westbrook-Akina as he has been out there with the ones, you know, getting a lot of reps from Ryan Tannehill. But, you know, being realistic, he's probably going to slot in as maybe the third receiver on this team. Had a nice year last year, but you have some underlying numbers that pop out.
Yeah, I took a look at Football Outsiders, and this is always a conversation that happens, especially this time of the year. And as we've said a lot, Mike Vrabel, over time, he gets less concerned about what round you were picked in and all that stuff. It's can you get the job? Can you get the job done? Nick Westbrook-Akina was an undrafted free agent. So relative to other undrafted free agents at the position, he really made a nice jump. Remember, that last year was his second year. He only caught 3 passes his first year. I mean, he was lucky to make the team and get on the field. But last year, he was a serviceable guy who ended up getting a ton of playing time because of the whole situation with Julio Jones and, to a lesser degree, but still it was important, A.J. Brown. And we're going to do this segment with the longtime training camp tradition of doing a segment after practice is over with the lawnmower going.
Absolutely.
And so here it comes. It's coming right at us right now. So get ready. We will talk over this. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Mike Vrabel got a little distracted by the mower going for his opening press conference. And
He
so
did. He did not like that.
He
very
didn't
much.
like that at all. In fact, I don't know if it was a mower. It might have been a leaf blower or something that was going on. But Nick Westbrook-Akina last year, 38 catches, 476, and 4 touchdowns. 67% catch rate, pretty darn good. Overall, his efficiency was above average. And this is an important point I want to hit you with, D-Mase. He was above average as a utility guy in the slot and on the outside. So it wasn't like he had to be in one particular place to be effective. So the versatility is something you really like, which could come in handy this year, depending on where they want to use Robert Woods, who's been a really good slot guy before, and Traylon Burks as they try to figure out where's the best place to put him onto the field. So the ability for Nick Westbrook-Akina to play, as you were saying, the X position, the Z position, the different – that's how you get on the field, right?
The Y, that's how you get on the field. The more you can do, the longer you stay around. You need to be you want to master the position that they put you in, but you also want to be a jack of those other trades as well. If they need to slide me in the inside, they can slide me in the inside. If I need to be, over at the X, they can put me at the X if I'm normally a Z. I believe as a wide receiver, you need to know every wide receiver position because you never know. We can be in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, we were taught, stay on the side of the field you were on. The side of the field we start in 2 minutes, stay on it because you don't have time to go back and forth. And what happens? One play you may be an X, one play you may be a Z. You just never know. So you got to know what everybody does on every play.
So with that in mind, the expectation level of him going into year 3 is an interesting one because is he going to get another level up? How much are they going to have to use him? You figure he's going to be in there a lot based on everything we see, unless somebody like a Des Fitzpatrick makes a big jump, or Racing McMath or some of these other guys that are competing. He's going to be a reliable guy. So here are the projections that Football Outsider has for him, and it's interesting. Last year, remember, 38 catches. This year they project 33 catches. Last year, 57 targets. This year they project 52 targets. And you didn't hear this the first day we did this, Chase, because you weren't on with us, but they call the projections in Football Outsiders the Kubiak projections, that all the letters stand for something. I don't even know what they all mean, but that's what the numbers spit out. Well, and that's sort of the running joke, right? It has to do with it's the reference. It's a double entendre there, I guess. But 63%. So they're basically saying he is what he is, that he is basically a number 3. He's a very good player for an undrafted free agent, but don't expect a big jump. You guys buy that? About 12 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns, between 400 or 500 yards.
I don't think.
It's hard to answer.
To me, it whether the jump or not isn't so much so on his ability to play the position, because he's shown the ability to play the position. It's more so of how this offense is going to be ran, because they don't have a A.J. Brown anymore. They're still trying to figure out the offensive line situation. They gotta figure out how do we implement Hooper into what we're doing. Derrick Henry in the backfield, and then Hassan Haskins, another guy that's proven in college he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So we gotta get all of these guys implemented within the offense. And it may mean less targets for Nick Westbrook-Akina, but that has nothing to do with his talent. Now, if they get going and this kid is progressing and he's catching everything, then they're going to throw him more balls. That's just the way it is. Ryan Tannehill will feel more comfortable with him, especially on third down. So I don't think it has a lot to do with his ability to be able to play the game. It's more so what type of offense are we in. Because if he's in offense like, the Rams or, Tampa or one of these teams that throw the football a lot, then he's going to have more opportunities to catch the ball.
No question, and that is something to always keep in mind, that if things go the way that they want to do it, the Titans will throw the ball a lot less than a lot of these teams that you're talking about here. So you put that in perspective, and you look more at efficiency. So Chase, what do you think about those projections?
I think that they're spot on because of all the guys you just named, I think Chikakonkwo is going to be factored in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm convinced that there is, in this receiver group, likely with the guys like a Des Fitzpatrick, Racey McMath, maybe a Josh Malone, maybe the kid out of UCLA that they drafted.
Kyle Phillips.
One of those guys is going to emerge and take some reps away from everyone.
Do you think from him, though? I mean, that's
yeah,
the thing. Is he clearly the 3 above all those other guys? That's an important question.
Right now, I'd say yeah, but I think that you look at this receiver group, and it's full of potential. Now, potential can mean a lot of things. But if one of those guys kind of breaks out, and, Josh Malone was the OTA darling, is he going to be the training camp darling? We'll find out. But I think those numbers are probably spot on just because they're not going to throw the ball as much, and you're not going to have as many passes.
Yep, and how much do they have to use him? That's another thing that goes into it. If the other guys aren't available or hurt, he's got to play more, which is what happened last year. But to his credit, he was pretty solid. He was better than average.
All right, this is what we're going to do. Ask D-Mase, and on the line, a pair of tickets to see Elton John at Nissan Stadium coming up on October 2nd. But you must participate by asking Derek a question. The best question is going to win these tickets to see Elton John. 615-737-1025. You must call in. You must go on the air and ask this 15-year NFL veteran wide receiver a really good question about the Tennessee Titans. We'll do that next, 615-737-1025. But first, Willie, tell us about Loan Pronto.
All right, Loan Pronto, they've got some things that you are, I'm sure, very interested in. If you've been looking at your finances and trying to plot out what is my next move, I've got some bills to pay. These economic times are not the best. So with your home's value up, if you're a homeowner, you are sitting on a pile of money. You may not realize it, and you don't have to just let it sit there. Talk to Loan Pronto about an equity line of credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. So you can get the cash out that you need to pay off, say, the credit card bills or other bills that are piling up, a home improvement project that you've been thinking about and wondering where do you get the funds to reinvest in your home, make it more valuable, get a down payment for a new home if that's what you're looking for, or just pay off a car loan or something like that. You're stashing away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, $100,000 or more out of your home, and the payments are crazy low. So call Loan Pronto. They make unlocking that home's equity easy. They can probably even waive the appraisal. So don't let all that money pile up in your home's equity. Use it to your advantage. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, July 27th, we're running an unprecedented one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. It's clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. My favorite part is that we can get rid of your ED without any pills. If you're ready to transform your love life, today is your day. Call us now, and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also a gift that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 5 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This is our most lucrative offer ever, worth $1,000. But call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Chad Withrow, and you've heard me talk about my buddies Hunter and Richard at Regal Realty Group, and now they've made it even easier for you to buy and sell a house. Not only will they help you from contract to closing and everything in between, but now they have a direct phone number for our listeners. 833-OUTKICK is the only number you need for your realty needs. And the team at Regal Realty Group, they've been in the industry for years and will help you manage buying and selling in any economy. Let Regal Realty Group do the heavy lifting. Give them a call at 833-OUTKICK.
Hey, Nashville, what's the best part of hockey? That's rhetorical. We all know the answer. It's the 3-on-3 overtime, the speed, the skill, the tic-tac-toe passing. It is electric. Well, now there is a new, totally 3-on-3 ice hockey league called 3 Ice, coming to the Music City on August 6th. They're playing at Bridgestone Arena, and tickets are available now at 3ice.com. 6 teams touring across 9 cities, playing a bracket-style tournament at each stop. It's overtime all the time. Hair on fire hockey. Log on to 3ice.com for tickets now.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into Chase, Willy, and D-Mace.
Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming. Get the extra point, no problem. And the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans training camp. 615-737-1025. You can ask Derek a question, and the best question will win a pair of tickets to see Elton John at Nissan Stadium on Sunday, October 2nd. That falls, I think, on you and me, Willy, that we have to be the judges here.
Yeah, because I'm not
tough
gonna.
job.
Yeah, I'm
it's a tough
not
job.
gonna.
You're just.
I'm not
answering.
gonna pick. Yeah, I'm
You're
just answering.
And I can tell you what my criteria is. I want some creativity. I want some insightfulness. Let's put a little effort into it, right?
Hey, man, listen, I'm just here, so I won't get fined, man.
Yeah,
I'm just
you
answering
don't
the
want to be
question
that
so I won't get
caller.
fined.
You don't want to be that caller that just calls in and says, "Yeah, I heard you guys are giving away tickets." You don't want to be that guy. You want to be that guy that says, "Hey, I got a good question for D-Mace. I want to ask him about football. I want to ask him about the Titans. I got to talk to D-Mace." That enthusiasm, that's going to make a difference for me. Make a difference.
All right, 615-737-1025.
You're not going to reveal your criteria at all as a judge?
Yeah, just don't suck.
Yeah, there we go.
Short and simple. Okay.
Let's go to James. James, you're first up on Ask D-Mace.
Well, first of all, my calls are always pithy and always to the point. That being said, I want to welcome we wish you both, all 3 of you all, good afternoon. And D-Mace, you know the saying, you can't change the wheel. The wheel's already been invented. However, that being said, you and I both know, and everybody in that studio knows, that in football is very cyclical and things do evolve. Now, let me give you a good example of that. We know the running back position is not quite as important as it was 20 years ago. The passing game has become more prolific, where the quarterback and the wide receivers are a bit more and taken a lot higher in the draft than they were 20 years ago. Now, my question to you is, as we've witnessed the college game change and evolve into much more of a high passing and the playbook, how much has college football's playbook when it comes to the passing game and throwing the ball a lot more and slinging it downfield, how much of that has influenced offensive coordinators and head coaches and how they scheme on Sunday afternoons now? And I'll hang up and listen. Love the show.
Thanks, James.
Thanks for
Good
the question. I mean, it's evident. You see whether it's, 5 wides, whether it's these quick screens, just getting into the receiver's hands, whether it's these sweeps, wide receiver sweeps, different packages that you see now. All of this derived from college football, because college football is so wide open that it's so hard for defenses. Once teams get you spread out, it's so hard for defenses to cover because in college they make you cover 52 yards from sideline to sideline and 100 yards or 110 yards from goal line to goal line and goalpost to goalpost. In the NFL, for a long time, it wasn't like that. Everything was compacted. Now, they are, what they're doing now, because the quarterbacks have changed. No longer do you have these stiff, just drop-back quarterbacks. You have quarterbacks that can do so many things now that it almost forces us to open up to more of a college game. That's what you see in the NFL. A lot of things and a lot of stuff that these guys are running now, derived from college football and what they saw or was seeing in college football that was working. Now they're implementing it in what they do as a NFL coordinator.
All right.
A good start. That was a very good start. Okay.
Very good start. And if we keep this going, you know what? We'll do 2 segments. Devin, you are up next on Ask D-Mase.
I heard you guys giving away some tickets.
Well done. That's good comic relief. You score well with the judges on that.
All right, so my question for D-Mase is I believe the Titans took a small step back this year with the offseason, but I think they made a lot of long-term plans with a quarterback, a receiver, and a running back. So to what degree does he agree with me on that?
Thanks, Devin.
Thanks, Devin. I appreciate it. I do agree that, they did take from a personnel standpoint, you did take a step, sort of a small step backwards. I mean, anytime you lose A.J. Brown on your offense, you're taking a step back. Anytime you lose Roger Saffold on your offensive line, you're taking sort of a step back. But you're right. They are making long-term plans as well. Eventually Ryan Tannehill will not be the quarterback with the Tennessee Titans anymore. So what do? We go out and we draft a quarterback that we can develop, that has the skill set that we can develop. And Vrabel talks a lot about, hey, listen, I don't want to talk about the talent. It's there. I like coaching these guys and developing these guys because talent without development is nothing. I got to have both, and he understands that. Running back situation, same thing. Hassan Haskins. We need somebody for the future. We don't know how much longer Derrick Henry can play at this level, but we need a guy that if Derrick needs a spell, needs a quarter off, then we could throw Hassan Haskins in the backfield and not truly miss a beat in regards to how we call our plays during the game.
615-737-1025. Scott, welcome into Ask D-Mase.
Hey, D-Mase. Hey, I'm going to officially dub you as Tiny Dancer since we're giving away tickets for Elton John. That's your name. Just for the rest of the call. So,
that's good.
So listen, Tiny Dancer, here's my question.
Go ahead.
So my question is, back, 10, 15, 20 years ago, how did they teach kids coming out of college to be professionals? And I don't mean on the field. I'm saying off the field. Compared to now, these kids are coming out with no – you can't talk to the person down the street. I mean, there's no verbal communications, and yet they're throwing people, in front of video cameras. How does a pro team teach a kid how to become a professional in front of the camera and how to handle themselves in front of the media personnel?
I think a lot of it, the NFL, and thank you for the question, I think first it starts in college. I think these universities and these programs or these organizations, let's say that, because truly that's what they are, organizations now. They've done a good job at making these young men accessible. And social media helps as well because it allows these young men to get on camera, men and women to get on camera in their comfort zone. And they're able to, because doing an interview is all about comfort. If I feel comfortable with doing an interview, then it typically goes well. If I don't feel comfortable, then the interview is not going to go as well as it should have. So colleges are doing a great job at coaching up these men and women. And then once you get drafted and get on the team, the NFL has done a really good job with these rookie symposiums, bringing people in during the year, at talking to these guys how to approach, how to do an interview or ask a question. I can recall going to, someone coming in and telling us, hey, listen, you got to understand, as the guy that's being interviewed, the interview is all about you. So you got to take your time with answering the questions. Don't think because they ask a question that you got to necessarily get them an immediate answer. Think about what you're going to say. Listen to what they're saying, because a lot of times we listen and also trying to formulate our answer as we're listening, and we totally miss something in there. Listen to what they're saying and then answer it, in a manner that you feel comfortable. You don't have to rush to answer it, because that interview is all about you. It's not about them. It's about you, and that's what you got to. And if you don't want to answer a question,
then don't.
You don't have to answer it.
Jeffrey Simmons did a good job of that today.
You don't have to answer it. Yeah. So that's how things have gotten a lot better now.
615-737-1025. On the line, a pair of tickets to see Elton John at Nissan Stadium October 2nd. Good questions so far. We'll take another slate of questions coming up next. 615-737-1025. Join 1025 and 1063 The Game and Newton Motor Group this summer to help kids in Middle Tennessee as we team up with Souls for Souls once again to provide shoes to children experiencing homelessness in Nashville and the surrounding area. School's coming back. All right, this is the time to do it. We're taking donations to provide shoes for children in need this school year, but we need your help. So what you need to do is go to thegamenashville.com/shoes. Any little bit helps. You can help Souls for Souls buy a pair of shoes for these kids. All donations will go directly to Souls for Souls to give these shoes to the children in Middle Tennessee. Go to thegamenashville.com/shoes. Newton Motor Group is a proud sponsor of Souls for Music City. Newton Motor Group, the best car deals in Nashville. Start at Newton.
It's training time for the Two-Tone Blue, and we have you covered. Talking Titans? Join us live from training camp for interviews and reports, giving you the latest on the Titans.
There's a lot of guys that are making an impact on me, both good and bad.
I like some of the depth. I think that's the key right now.
Training camp coverage is fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hiller's Home of the Free is back with more free giveaways than ever. This month, get a free programmable thermostat with select new HVAC systems. Get a free home surge protector with a whole home generator. Or enjoy a free water sensor leak detector with any tankless water heater. Better yet, we'll include interest-free financing and a free Happy Hiller Club membership with these purchases. Celebrate the Home of the Free with us at happyhiller.com.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Being present and in the moment for family activities was impossible because Will Burt was so focused on the constant pain in his leg.
My wife likes to take walks. I always kind of dreaded going on walks because they hurt. The boys both play baseball. I coach their teams. I was going to do them and be in pain and be uncomfortable and kind of sacrifice my own health.
An old Achilles injury left Will coping with agonizing pain until he discovered the natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery or steroids. The procedure took place in the office, and Will walked right out.
I feel great. There's no pain. There's no tenderness.
Patients like Will are feeling amazing and living their best lives.
Ironically, just got off the golf course today, so I think that's a good telltale sign that the Achilles is feeling better.
Don't be in pain another day. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Smoke City Smoke Shop is Nashville's one-stop shop for all your smoking needs, including Delta 8 and Delta 10 products, CBD, disposable vapes, hookahs, accessories, locally blown glass, and more. Smoke City Smoke Shop, located at 951 Main Street in East Nashville, and their helpful team is ready to take great care of you. Stop by today and mention GAME and get 20% off your order. That's GAME at checkout for 20% off. Smoke City Smoke Shop in East Nashville, your #1 destination for smoking products in Music City.
For the first time in history, the FedEx St. Jude Championship will kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs this August. Bring the whole family out to TPC Southwind, August 10th through 14th, to watch the PGA Tour's best try to make it through Memphis. Enjoy a variety of family-friendly activities throughout the course, food from local restaurant favorites, and more. Daily grounds and upgraded tickets are available now at FedExChampionship.com.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexroad.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Back here at 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Predators coming out for the third period. what I feel like every time I hear this. We're live at Titans training camp today playing Ask D-Mase. The best question to Derek Mason will win a pair of tickets to see Elton John on October 2nd at Nissan Stadium. This is a feature we are bringing to the show. You remember Ask the GM with Floyd Reese? It was fantastic. We're going to do the same with D-Mase now that he is back with us. 615-737-1025. Let's go to Al. Al, welcome in to Ask D-Mase.
D-Mase, it's a pleasure. For quick context, I'm an old school PSL founding father. Been traveling, following you guys since the very beginning, 1997. I'm an avid. I would hit Eddie for an autograph, you name it, Frank, et cetera, et cetera. And one of my favorite autographs happened organically. I was at the Oakland game, of course, in Memphis, and I just happened to be staying at the Sheraton, and all of a sudden, big people started sitting around in the lobby, and I started recognizing faces. So I just sat there, I waited, and Steve was sitting there, of course, Steve McNair. And I just ran to the front desk. I had nothing on me. I ran to the front desk, grabbed a piece of paper with the Sheridan letterhead, and, gave him his space, waited, and just that was my first autograph from a Titans player. So here's my point of all this. And then all of a sudden, 2000 came along. This skinny kid from Mumford High School had a hell of a year. Number 85, Derek Mason. And I think you only played about 10 or started 10 games, Derek, but you had great numbers. You were on the scene, et cetera. So I started chasing you down for an autograph. Like I said, I'm the Titans guy, PSL. You were as elusive to catch with an autograph as you were on the field, pun intended. But I finally got one at a charity event where I bid it and got one. Got the COA signed by Jeff Diamond, et cetera. So long story, sorry, Derek. Of all the Titans players since 1997, since you came on the scene, what is your most cherished piece of memorabilia or autograph from a Titans player? And please expound on as to why. And man, hey, and good luck on the HOF, my friend. And I'll
thank you.
hang up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
It has to be, obviously, the answer for me is Steve McNair. Because of, everything that happened, and he was just a good friend. And getting to know him off the field, and his family off the field. So that is one that I would cherish. And I remember after his passing, someone, and I forgot who it was, someone had a jersey of Steve McNair's, and they gave it to me, like an old jersey, an old practice jersey of Steve McNair's, a red one, and they gave it to me after.
Cool.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool of them.
That was after he died?
So, and I still have that jersey to this day, and, I would never give it up. So that was one. And just, Bruce Matthews, Mike Munchak, two Hall of Famers, man, that I was fortunate enough to play with Bruce and was here while Munch was coaching. And then once they got inducted, or right before they got inducted to the Hall of Fame, I got cleats signed by Bruce Matthews because I knew Bruce was going to make the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
So I got cleats signed by him, a helmet signed by he and Mike Munchak. So those are things that I will cherish. And, of course, Eddie, it's the same. I mean, former Heisman Trophy winner, AP Rookie of the Year, he is the best running back in Titan history, and probably the only second behind Earl Campbell in Oiler Titan history. So that's
for now.
Yeah, for now, Derrick Henry is right behind both of them. Henry is right behind both of them.
He's making an argument to be ahead of them.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. 615-737-1025. Joe, welcome in to Ask D-Mase.
Hey, D-Mase. It's good to talk to you, man. I'm going to preface this by saying this is the second time I've ever called. I called back Robin Rex Road a year ago and sang a cappella to try to win Garth Brooks tickets, and I won them, and then that show got rained out. So,
I was there.
I know. I'm hoping my luck's better this time. But, hey, so this being with Elton John tickets, and I'm getting to talk to one of the greatest Titans wide receivers of all time, I wanted to talk about a comparison and maybe a prediction of two wide receivers. I was thinking about going with total yards, but I'm going to say goodbye to that yellow brick road, and I'm going to go with the comparison of Traylon Burks and Julio Jones down in Tampa. Who do you think this year, given the systems that they're in, who do you think will have the most touchdown receptions? I'll hang up and listen, and it's good to talk to you, man.
The judges did hear the Yellow Brick Road comment as well, just to throw that out there. That was duly noted.
There's a lot of variables here, a lot of things that you need to take into account. Will Traylon Burks be the starter day one? Meaning when the season starts, will he be that guy alongside Robert Woods? Will Julio Jones be able to, pick up the offense and get going? But based upon, where I think those two guys project, I believe that Traylon will be the starter. I believe Julio will be the third receiver or fourth. And with that being said, touchdown-wise, I think Traylon will have more touchdowns than Julio. Now, I'm not saying what the touchdown number is. I'm just saying I think he will have more touchdowns.
If he has two, he'll have more than Julio.
Yeah, no, he's talking about this year. He's talking about this year.
Well,
he's looking for a projection.
Who will have more touchdowns this year? And it could be Traylon Burks has 6 and Julio has 5 or 4. So, but I don't know the exact number, but I think Traylon will have more.
Okay. 615-737-1025. Elton John tickets on the line. Let's go to Evan. Evan, welcome into Ask D-Mase.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? D-Mase, with Kyler Murray getting treated like a high school kid on academic probation with study hall out in Glendale, I got to know, man, do you have any wild stories about contract stipulations from players that needed a little extra to get the performance out of them they needed? And you don't got to name names, spill the tea, but I'm sure you got to have something. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. I know there were stipulations in contract in regards to weight. And that's always, especially with the offensive lineman or defensive lineman, there is a stipulation. Hey, listen, you need to come in shape and ready to go. So I have heard of those, but I haven't heard of anything near, And I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown had a bunch of stipulations in his contract. It was a walking stipulation, but I've never heard anything this comical and egregious that I got to put a stipulation that you must watch film at least 4 hours a day outside of the football building. I've never heard of that. It's your job to watch film. You need to watch film. You're the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, and I got to put a stipulation in there that states you must watch at least 4 hours of film. 4 hours of film is nothing for a quarterback. That's nothing. Yeah. So that's comical. But no, I have not heard or seen anything that comical.
All right, one more quickly. Seth, welcome into Ask D-Mase.
All right, Derek, I want to know what are your favorite memories or best games that you can remember playing against Ben Roethlisberger and against the Jets? Benny and the Jets.
The Jets.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Benny and the Jets. I get it. Ben Roethlisberger. He wasn't here. He wasn't the quarterback the year that the whole Joe Nedney. Yeah, Ben
that was Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, Ben was the quarterback. When I went to Baltimore, and
a lot of battles.
Yeah,
there.
We had a lot of battles, but the most memorable one was, we had them up, I think 17, in this AFC Championship game, I believe. We had them up 17-7, something like that. And we had all the momentum going. And, they ended up coming back, but we just was going back and forth. And I recall a 4th and 20. 4th and 20. They spread out in 4 wides. Big Ben gets the ball and does what Big Ben do. He completed a 4th and 20 down the sideline.
To who? Do you remember who?
Antonio Brown.
It was AB?
It was AB. It was a young AB, too, before he kind of blew up.
Yeah.
4th and 20. It's just like Big Ben does it again, And it's just, it's memorable moments like that you always think about when you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Ben. Now, the Jets, there's no memorable moments. I played for those. It was horrible. It was horrible. The Jets were horrible, man. Never had any memorable games, whether it be here or, when I played in Baltimore.
All right. We will unveil the winner coming up next. The
Benny and the
judges,
Jets,
the judges are going to deliberate. And
We
come
need
up
some
with the ruling.
deliberation. This was a good segment.
Yes, very good
I
participation.
think this has got potential here.
Very good participation. We'll award the Elton John tickets coming up next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Heads up. 106.3 FM is a new way to hear 102.5 The Game from downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and on I-24 to Murfreesboro.
Make sure you have that preset on your radio dial.
We're making it even easier to listen to Nashville's best sports talk.
Because we have a great show planned for you today.
Tune in to 106.3.
That's what makes this team better.
And hear the difference.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
To know what makes Genesis Diamonds so special, you have to understand its origin. Back when owner Boaz Ramon used to sell diamonds only to jewelry stores.
I was selling to more than 700 jewelry stores. I didn't like what I saw.
What he saw in retail stores was grossly inflated prices, limited selection, pricing games, and a sales process that put the customer at a disadvantage. And it motivated this wholesaler to start his own retail revolution.
My passion was to build a place where the customer is going to be very informed. We're not going to hide any information from him. We're not going to have to get diamonds from other people. We're not going to mark up our prices to mark them down.
So Genesis was born. No middleman markups, no commission salespeople, industry-leading warranties, 30 times the selection, a no-holds-barred diamond education that empowers the customer, and a refreshing, relaxed, no-pressure atmosphere.
We created a place where the consumer is the king.
Come and get the royal treatment today. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Ricky LeBlanc, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Admitted in Massachusetts only. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. Members, Paul J. Morgan, Winter Park, Florida. Nick Neiswander, Florence, Kentucky. Rich Graybo, 970 Farmington Avenue, West Hartford, Connecticut. 860-904-7789. Michael Bo Gonzalez, admitted Louisiana. Filing number LA-22-13614. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other attorneys. I am a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention U.S. Marines. Veterans were exposed to toxic chemicals in the drinking water on Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. Exposure to these chemicals increased the risk for cancer, birth defects, and other serious health problems. If you or a loved one were exposed to contaminated water on Camp Lejeune, you may be entitled to compensation. A new law gives legal rights to those harmed. It is not too late to take action. Call Sokolov Law now for a free legal consultation at 1-800-458-5400. 1-800-458-5400. 1-800-458-5400.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Stone and Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
1 o'clock hour, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans training camp today. Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Great participation and ask D-Mase, something we are going to be doing on a regular basis here on the show. So we will defer to our chief judge, William Donick.
Yes.
Out of the east side. And he will declare the winner. We have deliberated, and the winner is...
Well, let me first say that I was very impressed with the criteria I threw out there. I thought the callers responded. Every one of them helped the show. Nobody put a drag on the show at all. It was all great stuff. I saw some great creativity and effort, sarcasm, comedy, and insightful questions. And we put it all together. I consulted with my co-judges, and the winner by a hair was Scott, who called Derek Mason Tiny Dancer at one point. He also asked a really good question that I think could spark some further conversation about how you teach professionalism, especially when it comes to dealing with the interviews and the media in today's day and age. So, Scott, congratulations. You're headed to see Elton John.
Yes,
October 2.
Scott. So here was the first thing, and I was going to weigh in, but I was like, no, let's do this. Let's get through the rest of the calls. Because he made a very good point that 20 years ago, you know, these guys, they were a little more polished with that. Not everybody was. I mean, you know, but if you were like a star in your team, you were a little more polished. And times have changed. We text now instead of calling. We, you know, send emails. It's all behind a screen. We tweet. People don't, I mean, like even with what we do, people don't call in as much anymore because there are other ways to communicate.
True.
But here's the other part that people don't want to bring up. Some of these college coaches don't do these kids any favor because they don't let them talk. Nick Saban is a prime example. Doesn't let his players talk. Very, very rare. He does sometimes, but it's very, very rare.
They are definitely sheltered, I would say, by and large, more so than I think is for their own good. Now, I do think to do it, especially at the college level, there should be some training. There should be a couple of days where you actually take the time to teach them the do's and don'ts. How do you come across well in front of the media? Because it is something that doesn't come naturally for everybody.
You know what I got to do at MTSU?
What's that?
I got to go. I knew what I was in school to go into broadcasting. And I could go to practice. Coach Stockstill would let you talk to some of the players, and it was training for me and it was training for them at the same time. Now, I get it. MTSU is not Alabama. But why couldn't you do that? And if that does happen at some of these big schools, I would love for somebody to tell me that it does. Because I think, you know, especially with some of these schools that do have a broadcasting or journalism program, you know, why not let them train each other and get a little bit of that time, because they get here to the NFL and the Titans, for instance, they have to spend time trying to train them how to do interviews and answer these tough questions when they could be doing other things.
And here I'll take it to the next level, D-Mase, is because somebody might be out there going, well, yeah, what's the big deal? Middle Tennessee, how many of those guys are going to the pros? But here is where it's beneficial from a football coach's standpoint. If the coach is thinking beyond, boy, I don't want so-and-so to say something about our defensive scheme. They might know. The other team might figure it out. I don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, how about just, hey, someday that young man is going to be in a job interview. He's going to be answering questions. You want him to feel comfortable talking to people you don't know real well. That's the skill. That's a life skill that you take with you from your football program.
Yeah, it is. And listen, it's not an easy skill to learn. It's not. I know a bunch of people, grown folks, that are nervous talking in front of people or doing interviews. That's just, it's one of those phobias some people have. Some people are scared of heights. Some people are scared of spiders. Some people are scared to do interviews or talk in front of people, big crowds of people. So that's not, you know, it's not one of those deals where, you know, if we throw you out there, teach you something you should know. No, a guy or a girl has to feel comfortable in that setting. That's why I say the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. You know, when I got in the NFL, I wasn't comfortable at doing interviews because we didn't do much of them at Michigan State. That was just that time. That
Yeah,
time.
let's see. Who'd you play for at Michigan State?
Nick Saban, exactly. So we didn't do now Big Ten Media Day. We had to talk, but other than that, we didn't do much of it. It wasn't until I got in the NFL and started honing in on that skill of answering questions, and then finally figuring out and learning that, hey, listen, I'm the one they want to answer, so I can take my time in answering these questions,
Yeah. TD just texted me, Arizona State does media training. I believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
Herm,
a lot of schools do.
yeah,
There's no question.
Yeah, I mean, but Herm Edwards is a great example because he spent 10 years at ESPN, and so he saw the other side of it. He's obviously coached in the NFL and knows that. But I just think that sometimes these coaches and their paranoia and trying to, quote unquote, protect the player,
and the brand and all that stuff, right?
It's more of a disservice than a service.
Well, I mean, after a while, and you're watching, you know the guys that you can allow to do interviews, and the guys that you're like, nah, you need a little bit more polishing. You need to just sort of sit back and
you don't want to
relax.
put a person out there in a position to
that's
fail,
not comfortable.
right?
Yeah, that's not comfortable in doing it.
I will say this too. The SEC used to have a rule, and it was the dumbest rule I've ever heard. They used to have a rule up until just a few years ago that an athlete could not do a live radio interview. They could do, sit down with a print media
tape.
person.
It had to be
You
taped.
could tape something, but you could not do a live interview on the radio, and it just drive us crazy. And like, what are you afraid of now? Because
that they would say something.
Yes,
and
but you don't. You could certainly say, okay, I think Derek is capable of doing this. I'm going to give Derek. He's a senior. He's been around. Yes, Derek is have it a case-by-case basis. If there is a person on your team that you don't think is comfortable, then tell the radio station that and say, look, he's not ready to do this. He's a freshman. We used to have a rule that the freshman couldn't talk to the media. Eddie Fogler, my basketball coach, the freshman could not talk to the media until after the first game. That was just a team rule that he took from North Carolina with Dean Smith and kept with him because he wanted to give the freshman a little more time to get comfortable, learn the ropes a little bit before he threw him out there to the media.
But, you got to understand why they do it, because even though you say, well, yeah, put the guy out there, let the interviewer understand this is a new guy, but there's always those few men and women that want to get that wow.
Right.
They want to get that, and they're going to ask a question and try to trap you. And this young kid, he answers the question because he's like, okay, I'm just going to answer it.
Or something that gets taken out of context.
Absolutely.
It
So
comes
I
across in
understand.
print differently than what the kid meant.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
that
I
can happen. There are
why that
pitfalls.
happens. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand why
and
coaches do that.
One thing that I've done, is I've kind of come up through my career working in the Predators locker room. Kevin and Nick, a lot of times they would ask me, like, hey, I'll use Yakov Trenin for an example. When he first came up, I mean, his English was okay, but he was still learning and, had never been in that setting. And I used to always be fine talking to players that didn't have a lot of experience because it gave them that experience. And I think you got to put players in that position. TD from Nashville says he does football camps, and he will make them all interview each other, accustomed to it.
Well, that's great.
Good. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Great idea.
Interviewer,
it's fun too. I mean,
interviewee.
for a camper,
Yes.
that'd be a fun thing to do.
Exactly. I think the more you do it, the better you become and the more comfortable you become in that setting.
Keith on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. I played Division III football, strong safety, intercepted a pass, ran it back 56 yards for a touchdown. I got interviewed after the game. My quote in the paper was, I started to just take a knee so a big fat guy didn't catch me from behind the next day at the meeting. My coach says some of us need to work on our media skills.
I love it. The D3 media postgame. That's awesome.
Oh, that is fantastic. Coming up next, Ryan Tannehill addressed the media earlier today, and he was asked about one particular wide receiver. Hear what he has to say coming up next here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If if you're on the road between downtown Nashville.
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
And he has added players that do fit.
What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams.
This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Attention furniture buyers. Social Furniture is having a huge summer blowout sale in all departments. Don't wait, buy now. Your new furniture can be delivered the same day. At Social Furniture, our professional staff is ready to serve you with your furniture purchase. Summer is the best time to buy new furniture at Social Furniture. The savings are spectacular. For a limited time, Social Furniture is offering special financing for up to 60 months. That's right, up to 60 months. Don't wait. Visit Social Furniture today to save.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet Buick GMC. When this hot summer weather comes, I'm reminded of what my grandmother used to say. It's so hot outside, the hens are using potholders to pick up the worms. I was never really sure what that meant, but when she said it, I knew it was hot. I mean, if things are hot, that tells you something. And it's not always good. Take your car, for example. If it's running hot, something's wrong. If your air conditioner, like so many people, is blowing hot these days, something's wrong. When your tires get hot, they wear out faster, which means something's wrong. But here at Newton, we want to help right those wrongs. We have an amazing service department that'll keep your car running its best through all this heat. We have amazing technicians ready to diagnose and repair your car no matter what the problem is. We want to keep your car running smoothly in the easiest way possible. So let us help. Schedule your service online today at NewtonChevroletBuickGMC.com.
IndyCar is back in downtown Nashville. Single-day tickets for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, August 5th through the 7th, are on sale Wednesday, June 29th. Enjoy action-packed racing, huge concerts, cheering fans, and the biggest party of the year. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is a weekend full of entertainment you don't want to miss. Get tickets at MusicCityGP.com.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Summit offers world-class orthopedic care. The doctors at their Hermitage location specialize in general orthopedics, sports medicine, and hip and knee pain and injuries. Get back to enjoying life sooner. Schedule your appointment online at tn.houston.com. Conveniently located in the TriStar Summit Medical Center in Hermitage, right off I-40. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
What did you make of the pass and then the back, kind of like a back shoulder later? What are your thoughts on, how you were able to get with him today after not having many reps during minicamp OTAs?
Yeah, it's nice to have Traylon out there. We've been back a few days before you guys got here, had the rookies and some of the vets QBs back a couple of days. So we got some reps over the past few days, and excited to have him out there. He's got a long way to go, but making plays like that does a lot for building confidence for a quarterback, for myself. And just knowing what you're going to get over there. If he wins consistently and makes plays like that from you down the field, it gives you a lot of confidence to go his direction.
There you go, Ryan Tannehill talking about rookie wide receiver Traylon Burks back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans training camp. Chase McCabe, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. We talked a lot about Traylon Burks earlier in the show. I would say it's safe to say he had a good day. He took some, questions about accountability and his asthma and all that. And he took ownership of maybe being a little more diligent when it comes to taking care of himself, which I respected a lot. But you could hear the praise of his quarterback. I know Tannehill talked a little bit more about Traylon Burks, and they've been able to get on the same page, which with Tannehill, and, Derek, you can speak on this. I think any quarterback would tell you got to get chemistry with your wide receiver. But Tannehill's all about that. Like, he is all about doing the extra work with the wide receivers. So there is no shadow of a doubt that they're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a effective passing game if you don't have that rapport with your quarterback, or the quarterback doesn't have that rapport with you as a wide receiver. You can't get through a season. You can't get through a game, let alone a season, without that rapport. So he's right. Any opportunity they have with connecting on the field, in any type of route, it's good. And Traylon shows that he's capable of making the play. What's going to really amplify it is, once they get on pads. Then now when you're being pushed around, you get that, they're not looking to hit you, but you might get that inverted, little shoulder bump as you're going up for a pass. Are you still going to make the catch then? Because you can make the catches while wearing shorts and no shoulder pads because nobody's going to touch you. But can you then make those same plays at this level when guys are pulling you down, guys are pushing you, guys are right there for contact? If you can do that then consistently, then I know as a quarterback I can rely on you.
This was my first time, unlike a lot of the media that comes to a lot of these OTAs. I mean, we saw the crew. Our show, of course, is in the middle of the day, so we don't get a chance to come out to the OTAs.
Yeah.
So this was my first time to see Traylon Burks live. Same. And it was impressive because you see, okay, I see what a first-round pick looks like. The frame, he's big, he's strong, and that was something I was excited about. And of course, he was making plays today. But as you said, D-Mase, it's just number one, understanding what it takes to be out here every day and be at your best, and then going from there. We got a long way to go in the process here. And today was a good first impression, for sure. And like you said, he's changed the narrative of, hey, why can't the guy get to a practice? What's going on? He's got asthma. I mean, all of that now is out in the open. Hopefully he's addressed it. He didn't shy away from the questions. So a lot of good things happened today. Sort of set the stage for now let's just see if the guy can play.
And I think he can. And I think what people got to understand is this. Everybody doesn't walk around looking like, like they just stepped out of, Roman age, if they're gladiator or something. Everybody's not chiseled and 8 abs and, just biceps on top of biceps and just broad. Everybody doesn't look like that, And Traylon is one of those guys that I think if you just saw him, you wouldn't think that he was a football player. I think that will always be his body composition. Not to say he's not strong or he's not in shape, but and you've seen him, Willy, I know you have, on a basketball court, like, okay, if I walked out here, I wouldn't know that you played sports, but you get him in the gym room, like on the court, it's like, wow. It's the same thing with guys on the football field. I mean, there's a lot of Hall of Famers that when you saw him play, I'm like, man, he just looks like a guy. Like, he doesn't have these muscles on top of muscles and small waist, but damn, he can play,
Yeah.
So I believe that will be his body composition. Like, I work out, I do what I need to do, but I'm never going to be that guy that's just chiseled.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting observation. He obviously, people were talking about his weight and stuff. It's not that he looks like Adonis out there, but he does have the frame. He does have the length, right? He can. He's 6'3". He's over 2. He's a big guy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, so that size against those smaller defensive backs that you see a lot, that's a big advantage for him, especially if he can move the way we think he can. This is something that you've pointed out that a lot of people are going to watch is his game speed in the scouting report is a lot better than his 40 time in the combine. So let's see the game speed as he's playing against NFL guys. Can he still get up the field? Can he still beat guys?
Yeah, it's like, listen, I understand the 40-yard dash. I get it. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, because it's not a true barometer of nobody's going to get on the field and just run 40 yards. It's just not going to happen. But how do you get in and out of your break? How do you transition from point A to point B? Are you doing that at a clip that is going to beat the defensive back? Yeah, you may not have ran fast, but you play fast. You play quick. You play smart. You play with an attitude. That's what I want to see. That's what Traylon Burks displayed in college. Like, listen, if you put him on the clock, he's going to run a 4.55, might even run a 4.6. But you put him on the field, he looks like a 4.3 guy, because his physical presence, he's breaking tackles, and people are not catching him for some reason.
Now, here's the guy, Chase, that disrupted the opening day press conference for Mike Grable. Right here, he's passing in front of us. Yep. He's got the leaf blower going, the grass. He's trying to smooth out the field. But that thing is even louder than the lawnmower.
Yeah, the lawnmower wasn't that bad. That is.
That looks like a track blower for a NASCAR race. One of the jet dryers.
It was Mike Vrabel's first answer yesterday. He stopped. He goes, "Can we?" You heard this thing just roaring in the background. He goes, "Can we get this guy to turn this thing off?"
So, hey man, this is what you're paying me to do.
Look, I have said.
The guy's got headphones on and sunglasses. He has no idea what's going on. He's just cruising.
How much, Derek, do you want to see Traylon? And we've talked about practice, and you learn more in practice, especially the joint practices you're going to have with Tampa and Arizona. But how beneficial will the preseason games be for Traylon Burks?
I think it'll be very beneficial. I think the joint practices will be very beneficial to him as well, because he gets an idea of what a defense other than yours looks like, how they're going to game plan within practice, but how they're going to game plan going against other defensive backs than your own. Getting a look at how these guys play. Different guys, everybody doesn't play the game the same. So you get an opportunity of seeing how other defensive backs play. But then you get in the game and it's game planning. It's attention to detail. It's knowing what they're doing pre-snap and post-snap. Things like that he gets to learn. And it's almost like, okay, you're allowed to fail in the preseason. This is the time that we need to work out.
We want you to struggle,
We want you to struggle. Get all that out before the season.
So,
okay, here's the next question. The controlled scrimmages, I think you're dead on. Those are ones that might be even more beneficial. The actual preseason games, where I think we all believe that Ryan Tannehill isn't going to play much, Derrick Henry isn't going to play much. How much do you play Traylon Burks in the preseason games with that in mind, as Derek makes eye contact with his man?
He know who I'm talking
to. One of the great guys, behind-the-scenes guys, who's still here. He's been with the team from day one.
Yeah. This is my main man. This is my main man right here.
Say hi, Derek.
John Takahashi.
Yeah. But Derek reunited, and it feels so good. But you talk about the reps and all that.
That's one we're all going to be watching. Is how much do you put, normally a rookie, you put him in there a lot in the preseason games, but you're not going to be working with the one. Like Derrick Henry's already said is not going to play. That makes perfect sense. Tannehill, you don't think is going to play much. We're going to see probably a lot of Malik Willis. You would think it's a great training ground for him.
And that was going to be my question. Are we going to see a lot of Malik Willis and Traylon Burks at the same time? Which, I would say at some point there's probably going to be some overlap, but that's going to get people talking, because if Willis and Burks are on the same page and they're hooking up, in the games, you're going to think, oh, is that the future? Are we seeing the future?
Anyway, as we know, you come, and it's hard to resist, because when you're watching a game on TV and they're wearing the uniforms and a guy goes off or struggles, we overreact every year on shows like this of what happens in those games. And then 2 months later, you don't even remember what happens. But I do think we'll all be really curious.
Major overreaction will start at 2 o'clock.
100%.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But we will. And I want Derek's thoughts on this. How much you're going to see Malik Willis and Traylon Burks play together in the preseason, and if that should be viewed as a big deal or not.
I think you will see those two individuals get time together. Now, how much time, I don't know, but I think it's going to be beneficial for Traylon as well as Malik. More so for Malik because he gets an opportunity to play with a potential starter, a guy that they're looking to do big things in their offense. So you can get comfortable with throwing the ball to him because you never know. You might be in a situation in the game. You got to play. Now you got some familiarity with this guy that you've been throwing to during preseason. And then it makes Malik's job a little bit easier because you get to throw to a first-rounder, top-notch guy. And you know, you won't have as many mistakes as you would, you know, throwing it to a guy that, you know, doesn't have that ability that Traylon has.
615-737-1025. If you want to weigh in on anything with the Titans in training camp, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com. More coming up with comments from Mike Vrabel. That is up next. But first, Willy, tell us about QC Kinetics.
All right, let's talk QC Kinetics. They want to keep you moving. We know that if you suffer from joint pain or you've been struggling with an injury, maybe even arthritis, you probably know the traditional treatments, and maybe they work for you, maybe they haven't. If you're looking for something new, there is a great new way out there, and it's through the folks at QC Kinetics. It's the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. It's 2022. There's a new way out there, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine uses the restorative and ability to repair the damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. And here is the best part of it. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics can address any pain in any joint and give you that great quality of life back that you need to stay active, stay loose, and stay fast and free. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and see if this is for you. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams.
This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Ever tried to shop for a diamond online? They all look great on the computer screen, but the fact is, most reputable jewelers like Genesis Diamonds wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
These are the diamonds that nobody wants to buy. We call them the B-quality diamonds.
That's Genesis owner Boaz Ramon, who says that even diamonds with the same grade and specs on paper can be very different when you see them up close in person, especially the ones from online dealers.
Those diamonds gonna look always cloudy or dirty. It's like you're wearing your glasses and there is fingerprints all over the glass. You just don't understand, or nobody told you that the material that this diamond was cut from was not the best material.
Why risk it? At Genesis Diamonds, they screen thousands of diamonds and only choose the best of the best for maximum brilliance, sparkle, and luster. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
I'm Boaz Ramon, and my accent is always on value.
Hey, Willie Donick here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month, and inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against the Charlotte Knights at First Horizon Park. Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win. Pre-game at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Ryan, what does it mean to have just Robert Woods kind of progressing as he's progressing? And Grable also mentioned NWI, just the versatility these guys both have, and how much will that benefit you if you can start to build that chemistry early on here?
Well, it's huge. I think Robert's been around a long time and has been a playmaker. So excited to bring his veteran point of view and veteran play to our team, and seeing him out here kind of running really full speed for the first time, getting some routes on air. He looked really good, on air. So excited to build those reps with him and continue to build that relationship as we move forward.
Ryan Tannehill, Titans quarterback, talking about Robert Woods as he has been full go. It looked like at Titans practice, not wearing the knee brace. Mike Grable said that the doctors have been very encouraging, or things have been favorable. I think it's the word that he used. So good to have him here, and we'll see how effective he can be as they move along. Back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase live at Titans training camp. We're going to do a little Titans trivia for you so you can have an opportunity to win tickets to see 3 Ice, the 3-on-3 ice hockey game that is coming to our city. But you must answer the question. We'll take the answer off the air. You must answer the question, and it is about the Titans.
It is about the Titans. We're going to do a little daily Titans training camp trivia contest, and we're going to do this one off the air. So no pressure. You don't have to be on the air if you're not comfortable. So you call in, you give the correct answer behind the scenes to Nick, and the first correct answer is right. We were talking about Traylon Burks a lot today. First-round pick at wide receiver. Now, the Titans, through the years, on occasion have had a first-round pick wide receiver, and so today we are going to have you name something about one of them, and that's Kenny Britt. In 2008, the Titans had a really good year. Derek actually referenced this season. Titans were 13-3. Derek's Ravens shattered the Titans in the divisional game. I can see Chase already getting sad that I'm bringing this up. Brings back tough memories.
Derek was trash talking. And
he caught a big pass. It was a tough game. And they went on and lost the following game that Derek told a story about with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, who went on and won the Super Bowl. So the next year, or the draft after that season, the Titans, who really were weak at wide receiver that year, they needed some help. They used their first-round pick on Kenny Britt. Now the question is, where did Kenny Britt go to college? Pretty simple today. I'm going to try to restore your confidence if you're a Titans fan. 2009, Kenny Britt, first-round pick. Where did he play his college ball? 615-737-1025. We'll take your answer off the air.
There you go. 2008. So who did you guys beat the first week in the wild card round?
Who did we beat?
Because New England didn't make it because that was when Brady got hurt.
Yeah,
right?
New England didn't make it. Was it Kansas? Was it Kansas City?
I will find this out.
It might have been Kansas City. And then we came here. Then we went to Pittsburgh. It might have been Kansas City.
Because I remember going, like, when you guys went, I'm like, crap.
It's the Ravens. Yeah, the Ravens defeated the Dolphins 27-9. 27-9 on Wild Card weekend, and then beat the Titans 13-10. Oh, the Titans 3.
What was that score against Pittsburgh in the next following week? Was it Pittsburgh?
The following week, the NFC is AFC Championship game. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, 23-14.
Yeah. So we were up 14-3, I think, at halftime. Something like that.
By the half, it was 13. Where am I looking?
13-3?
No, you guys were behind.
Were we behind in that game?
We were behind 13-7 at the half. It got to 16-14 in the fourth quarter. And you guys lost 23. A Troy Polamalu interception.
Yeah.
For a touchdown to put the game away.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those games we don't want to make Derek rewatch.
Nah.
We've made that mistake before.
Yeah, we I think we were the better team, but sometimes, hey, the better team don't win. Costly mistakes. And, whether it be in Baltimore or in Tennessee, go to Oakland, and you have a bunch of turnovers. That's what happens.
3 catches for 41 yards for D-Mase.
So
one thing we haven't talked about today, I know Nick's getting the winner, so we'll wait on Mike Rabel.
Do we have a correct answer? Can we stop calling?
It looks that way. It looks like we have a winner.
Yes, he has blocked the line, so we do have our winner. So we'll give you the
winner.
answer in a moment, but you can stop calling.
But Jimmy Garoppolo, we haven't talked about this yet, that he is past the physical, and he, you watched the press conference yesterday with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, and I kind of got we wish Jimmy nothing but the best in his future as we move on, because they've given him permission to seek a trade.
And that is curious because it's putting a lot. Remember how good San Francisco was last year. They were not far. They won in Dallas in a playoff game with Jimmy Garoppolo, and then
they were in the NFC Championship game with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
absolutely.
they were in the Super Bowl.
I mean, I mean, they have won a lot of games with this guy, and they are 100% committed to move on to Trey Lance. There's not even we still got him. Maybe we'll just keep him. It's not that at all. They want to move him, and people are saying for sure he will be on a new team before the season starts.
Well, and here's the thing. Where's the most logical place for him to land?
Seattle.
And what division does Seattle play in?
The same division as the 49ers?
Division.
Yeah, so they're doing this on purpose. Like, they are waiting to the absolute last moment to do it because they know that the likely trade partner is going to be Seattle, and then Jimmy's going to go there and have to learn an offense in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't see him going to another team. Seattle is primed for him to go. They don't have a quarterback that they truly believe in, I don't think. And you got pieces around, you from a skilled position standpoint. So he can go in and they would be, I'm not going to say they would win their division, the NFC North? No, the NFC West.
Yep.
They won't win the NFC West, but it does sort of put them in that position where, hey, listen, if things go right, we can find ourselves in the playoffs, So
the NFC isn't the deepest. There's a lot of teams where you could see their season going one way or the other. So and then what's the price? Do you sit back if you're Seattle? I've gotten the impression that Seattle is not dying to go all in for this year. If they had to wait, they will. So I wonder how patient they'll be, knowing that the 49ers they want to move on from this. Like, they've waited. So can I keep waiting out and only give up a 4th round pick or a 5th? We have seen trades that go like that.
Sure.
Like, historically, what did the Patriots get Randy Moss for? It wasn't even a 1st round pick. It was a 3rd round pick maybe.
Yeah.
So sometimes a team is just ready to unload a player, and you get him cheap.
Yeah, well, in this situation, Garoppolo has took somewhat of a pay cut to make that trade happen.
Yep, like Mayfield did.
Exactly. Because no one, I think, was going to take on that huge contract, at least for 1 year. If they wanted to get rid of him, they had to lower the contract. He lowered the contract, so now he's just waiting on someone to sign. And I'm pretty sure he will be signed. I would be surprised if he's not signed within the end of next week.
Yeah, I mean, it has to at this point. Training camp's open.
Yeah,
so you got to get something done with that here soon. All right, are you ready to reveal?
Yep, we've got the winner. Stanley Carey has won the tickets to 3 Ice, and so he was quick enough to get in and get the correct answer. Kenny Britt was a Scarlet Knight from Rutgers out of the Big Ten.
Rutgers.
Back in the day where Rutgers had some
Big
pretty
East,
good things going.
Were they the Big East?
I'm trying to remember what year they moved to the Big Ten. It's a good question. Were they in the Big Ten by then?
It was.
Let's look
it had
that
to be
up.
early 2000.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think they were in the Big Ten by 2009?
No, they were not in the Big Ten.
They might have been, actually.
No, they were not. I don't think they were.
Okay. Well, we're going to look that up. Kenny Britt, I really thought he never hit it big.
Injuries.
He had flashes the first 2 years, and then the third year he tore the ACL, and he was just never really the same. He did recover. He hung around the league for a good while. He played for Jeff Fisher when the Rams moved out west, and he had a 1,000-yard season. That was the only time he cracked 1,000 yards.
I will never, ever, ever, ever understand why, when they acquired Randy Moss, the logic or lack of not putting Britt and Moss on the field at the same time. Because they, quote unquote, played the same position.
Man, that's one of those
that is a head scratcher.
That's one of those questions you would ask 30 years from now.
Yeah, and look,
why didn't they put them two on the field together?
Well, next time we get Jeff on,
I'll let you ask him when the Titans picked Randy Moss. Yeah, when they picked up Randy Moss, they did have a young Kenny Britt. And you guys were right. Rutgers moved into the Big Ten in 2014, so Kenny Britt was pre-Big Ten.
Yeah.
Rutgers.
Junie on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, who is our resident Steelers expert, is saying the game that you were talking about with Big Ben was the divisional round in 2010.
Yeah, it was.
What year was that?
2010. Yeah, he
2010.
completed
let's
that
take a look.
fourth.
We'll get the particulars.
Fourth and
the AB play.
Yeah, 4th and 20. I think it was like 4th and 20. And he completes a bomb to on their sideline.
And that was your last year in Baltimore, right?
Yep.
You guys beat the Chiefs 30-7 in the wild card game. The next game was against Pittsburgh, 31-24.
Yeah.
Was the final score. Ravens, this is the game you're talking about. You guys were up 21-7 at the half.
Yeah, 21-7 at the half. Game we should have won.
Well, a game-winning touchdown by Rashard Mendenhall of the Steelers with 1:33 left.
Yes.
Well, Junie, stay away from Derek for bringing that up. It's my advice
Or
to you.
send him the tape. Send him the tape of the game.
I don't want to see the tape.
Don't do that during the show.
Don't do that. I don't
want
to see the tape.
Definitely do not do that during the show. Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tonight at 7:05 on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds host the Charlotte Knights, AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox at First Horizon Park. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan is presented by 312 Pizza and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Coming up next, you'll hear from head coach Mike Vrabel as we continue here at training camp on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
And here we go! Every Tuesday at 11.
The Music City Grand Prix is green!
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase will get you set for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix by talking to some of IndyCar's best drivers.
Pleased to be joined by Scott Dixon.
I can't wait, man, and thanks for having me on, and looking forward to getting back to Nashville.
Weekly driver interviews are presented by Social Furniture in West Nashville. Shop their summer blowout sale now till July 31st. 60 months with no interest and same-day delivery. And by the Nashville Sheriff on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford. When this hot summer weather comes, I'm reminded of what my grandmother used to say. It's so hot outside, the hens are using pot holders to pick up the worms. I was never really sure what that meant, but when she said it, I knew it was hot. I mean, if things are hot, that tells you something, and it's not always good. Take your car, for example. If it's running hot, something's wrong. If your air conditioner, like so many people, is blowing hot these days, something's wrong. When your tires get hot, they wear out faster, which means something's wrong. But here at Newton, we want to help right those wrongs. We have an amazing service department that'll keep your car running its best through all this heat. We have amazing technicians ready to diagnose and repair your car no matter what the problem is. We want to keep your car running smoothly in the easiest way possible. So let us help. Schedule your service online today at newtonford.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well,
Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here at Titans training camp, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase is the show. Titans general manager John Robinson is going to join us live here tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We got to see him a little bit earlier when he was walking through, but looking forward to that conversation with him. It's been a while since we've had him on. Been a while since we've seen him in the flesh, so it'll be good to talk about a variety of different things with him. Head coach Mike Vrabel talked to the media earlier today. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
He said that he likes to encourage young guys to try to go towards the head of the line until a veteran, holds them back. You see meaning in
or is that Kevin's way of just saying he doesn't want to get the rep?
you see meaning in that kind of thing? What did you do as a younger player?
What I did doesn't matter. I think Kevin's purpose of that is just encouraging guys to go out there. You know what I mean? To go. Like, he understands that it doesn't matter whether you're a first-year player, first-round draft pick, seventh-year player. He wants to be surrounded by as many guys that want to help the team and compete, that he can trust and that we all can trust. So probably his is just trying to encourage those guys to get out there and not feel like they need to wait for an invitation.
You expect your top guys to be at the front?
I expect our top guys to play great every Sunday. That's what I expect.
He said that he was down about 5 or 6 pounds entering this camp, and Traylon also said he was down 5 or 6 pounds. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of weight in the grand scheme of things. Is it more about how you lose the weight as opposed to being lighter that makes you more effective?
I think a lot of this is just these guys do a lot of conditioning, and we'll see it sometimes levels off once you get into the season or training camp. So there may be, sometimes guys away from here, they don't necessarily eat like they do when they're here. We got quite a spread in there. So, again, we want players to be as big and as strong and as conditioned as possible, and we monitor that with Lauren, our nutritionist, Todd, Frank, myself, to try to find what the right thing is. And we monitor that, 1, for hydration, and 2, for performance.
How proud are you of Dez, of the progress he's made from last training camp to this training camp, and where especially do you think he's gotten better?
Well, I think the year on the practice squad gave him a lot of confidence. He went out there and he ran routes with the intent to go win, that every ball was going to be thrown to him. And when we try to explain that to all these guys, like, this is your opportunity to go play against, starting players on the defense. And I know that there's a card, and these defensive coaches, they love to draw the lines on the card and everything, and we just tell them, like, that's the route, this is our route. We just tell them, in our language, run that route. Get open, and whoever the show team quarterback is going to get you the ball. And I think he started doing that. He started gaining confidence. So that's just the biggest thing is probably – and then him just understanding what the day in and day out of pro football is, and how competitive it is.
A little bit of that earlier today. That last question, Des Fitzpatrick, somebody we talked about earlier today, Derek, praise from the head coach. And, I know you never were on the practice squad. I don't even know if they really had practice squad.
Yeah, they had practice squad then, but it was only like 5 guys.
Yeah, but you were a special teams guy. You weren't a starter yet, so you had to work extra hard to get your reps. He said that year on the practice squad gave Des confidence. Why do you think that is?
Because you get an opportunity to, hone your craft. You get an opportunity to go against the first-team defense. And he's right, man. Listen, it's an opportunity for you. Don't look at it as, I'm on a practice squad. This don't mean anything. It does mean a lot because these GMs and coaches are watching. They're watching what you do on a practice squad. They're watching, how you conduct yourself. Are you being a professional? More importantly, the defensive guys are watching. They can get the ear of the head coach. Like, listen, this dude's a player. Like, he can play. And as long as he's able to transition from the practice squad to the regular squad and still do some of those same things, then it's a plus. Because, again, I treated practice, and when I was 3rd or 4th on the depth chart, sometimes 5th, I treated my reps against our first-team defense as game time reps for me because I knew I wasn't getting any reps with Steve. I knew I wasn't getting those reps with the starting unit. So I treated my reps with Dave Craig or Neil O'Donnell when he first got here. I treated them as my game reps, and I honed in on my skills because I was going against one of the best defenses in the National Football League.
I really like some of the things that I see here with the development of Des Fitzpatrick. Number one, he's been in a place where he knows what it's like to get cut. He knew he had to get better. And it had to be eye-opening that when he got cut, even though he was a 4th-round pick, anybody could have had him. Anybody. Nobody took him. He comes back on the practice squad and has to start sort of from scratch as if he was an undrafted guy. And then fast forward, he does know what it's like to be in an NFL game and make some catches. Remember, they were so desperate in the game that they lost in that awful rain here against Houston. He was about all they had. And so he got in there and he was kind of thrown into the deep water. Hey, we don't have anybody else. Let's see if you can make a play. So he's got a taste of it. So at 6'2", 208, he's a guy, he's got tools. He's got NFL wide receiver tools. It's just a matter of now, can he get there and get the most out of himself? Because as we've been saying throughout, it's not like they got a lot of depth at wide receiver. There's some opportunities for a guy to make a jump and get some playing time.
Well, they don't have a lot of depth right now, but they could have a lot of depth depending on what some of these guys do in training camp. I mean, if you get solid camps out of Fitzpatrick, out of McMath, who we noticed a lot today when we walked in, Josh Malone, guys like that, then all of a sudden you go from having not a lot of depth to you have some options. And while some of those options, will probably be on your practice squad, you still have that to work with.
Well, these guys that, the 4, the 5, and the 6 wide receiver can't say they didn't get an opportunity to show what they can do because it's not like this receiving core, the top 3 are just like all pros and established guys. You got one established guy on this offense in that receiver room, and that's Robert Woods. Everybody else is coming into their own. So you got an opportunity as a 4, 5, and a 6 to get some playing time if you show you can do what you need to do on the field.
Coming up next, it's Stillman and Company. They will have full reaction to the first day of practice here at training camp. We will be back here, including Traylon Burks. We will be back here tomorrow. We'll talk to the general manager, John Robinson. Stick around. Stillman and Company. That's next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition.